Hello and good morning, good morning. Terri Hardin here, artist, Imagineer, Henson puppeteer, and what is it I don't do? Play the guitar. That's what I don't do. Today's AMA, I did not get to look at beforehand, and I apologize for not being to prep. It's been a very, very busy week. And on Terry's Tribe, that is my Patreon page. Uh, there it is. My patrons, everyone who's in Terry's Tribe, which is a great group of people who share voices and uplift people, share their art. If they're not artists, they share their passions, because art and artists, definition of an artist is someone who is passionate about what they do, isn't it? So over on Patreon, please go check it out. For just $5 a month, you can be a part of the tribe, and you get a free Zoom call. A Zoom call included in that every Wednesday, where we get together a spotlight on you if you want it, but on others. This week is Diane Embaum. She will be our featured spotlight. And also you get a peek at things that I'm working on and doing. And today they got a peek at the Hitchhiking ghosts. Now, don't get cranky. You get to see them on Monday. But I wanted my tribe to see them first. They've been helping me a lot with voting on Cape or No Cape, with Professor Phineas. And of course you remember that we did a cape. So yay, yes, yay. I'm so excited, and they are gorgeous, they are beautiful, and you guys are really, really gonna love them, and you want some of that early preview stuff, and be a part of it. You have a voice, and I am urging you to share that voice with the Terry's Tribe community. That's what I'm doing. All right. It's if you are out there and you're thinking, wow, she just wants my money, then you don't know me very well. Okay? You really don't. But if you're someone who has someone in your family, and it's per family, you guys can all gather around the invitation, and you can sit and share your family with us, or your cats, or your animals. Many do. And we talk on the tribe on our Zoom call, and then I do a Facebook Live just before I come up and do these ones, which is why I changed from 9 to 9:20, because I needed a little more time to talk to the tribe, and then I needed a little more time to prep for this. I find that I'm better with tea. So I showed the ghosts today, and everybody really likes them, and you will too. We will show them to you Monday. Monday, the difference is on my Facebook Lives, I will let you know the exact price of the ghosts. They will be higher than originally quoted, but I have decided to break it down into some special things, okay? We will do a set. I only am selling the sets, but if you've reserved yourself a Hitchhiking Ghost set, you can then decide to pay for it in full, because I'm going to ask you order it, because that's going to give me the money to build it. You understand? So you get to see them, love them, decide you want them, right? I'm not going to show you what the box looks like. I'm not going to show you what the certificate looks like. You deserve some surprises. But what I will do is do it in 2 phases. If you pre-purchase the entire set in one fell swoop, if you have that ability, I'm probably going to knock up to $100 off if you buy them all at once, okay? Pre-sale. If you can't, but you love them, and you will, if my tribe is any indication, you will, I'm going to do a per ghost purchase. So you cannot break the setup, but you can do a purchase of the ghost. So the way that would work is that you would buy ghost number 1, ghost number 2, and when you finally buy ghost number 3, the packaging and everything will come with ghost number 3. So you can kind of create a little payment plan for yourself by buying them per ghost for your set. You're still buying the set, but you're doing it in increments. Okay? I think that's going to work great, and I think that's going to be a benefit to you. Now, they are going to be a little more expensive if you buy them per ghost, because that's a little more work on this end. So I have to pay for that. And I have to bring it on to you, okay? But the good news is you're not going to have to come up with, $999 to do them, okay? Do the set. But like I said, we're not sure. I will do the actual price point, show you the ghosts Monday. All right, so tune in Monday. I want to make sure, I want to work over the weekend on how to present them to the best of their ability. Because today on Terry's Tribe, when I showed them, I was just I just got them today at 7 this morning, my prototypes, and I'm so excited. So I was trying to work out some sort of makeshift way that you can see every phase of why they're so wonderful. But over the weekend, I'm actually going to do a setup. I'm going to get with my husband and we're going to do an actual setup that shows them off to the best that they can. Make sure they're a little more in focus. They weren't a lot in focus today. The camera on Facebook, what Facebook does to my broadcast, pulls back. I don't quite know how to say it, but it's not as crisp. And the reason for that is just, what Facebook's able to do. So I want to be able to get this to show you what they're doing in the best way that I can show you. And I've got to practice that over the weekend. But I'm so excited. They are gorgeous. They are wonderful. Believe me, don't buy, save your pennies because you're really going to be happy. If you've reserved a set of ghosts, you're going to want them. I'm telling you. They are like nothing you have ever seen. They are like ghosts. You are buying ghosts. You're not buying lit figures. You're not buying anything with acid reflex. You are buying 3 little ghosts. If you decide to invest in these, seriously. No giggle, no expression. This is the hardest thing I've done, honestly, since Dragon's Lair. It is very challenging. We have been those of you who have been with me a long time know that I've been researching and developing these for over 2 years. Okay? Joshua Schaefer, shout out to him. He's the one who made the suggestion, and I said the same thing I did with the child, which was, why would I make more ghosts when you have 5 million of them? You even have popcorn boxes now. I don't like the popcorn boxes. You can't put popcorn in them, so why are you calling them a popcorn box? But you have them. And if you like them, you have them. Okay? But the point is that these will be the thoroughbred of your collection. And I don't usually talk this way about my work. And it's because the work is good. I get that. I've had training. I've trained for years as a sculptor. I've learned, I've practiced, I re-honed my skills, But these are different. These were a challenge. We had lots of failures. We had lots of fallbacks, which is one of the, this because I kept wanting to show them to you, and they just weren't right. Well, now they are. They're in prototype stage, which means all the work that we've been doing for this year shows in these pieces a little bit. There's a little excess glue. There's a little the button. There's a few things that aren't right because I work on art proofs to make yours perfect. You're going to be investing in these guys. These are an investment. We want them to look pretty, so they will look pretty. Yeah, they will look good, and I'm seriously excited about it. So have you heard the news? Oh, and if you can't be a part of the tribe, I really do want you to. And if you are part of this and you like what you're hearing, you think I'm kind of fun, or you like commenting, I hope you will. Please pop over to my YouTube channel. That is free. And I'm working to make that a better channel every day. It's a lot to be on social media and to do everything that's needed to be done, especially when you're more a face-to-face kind of a person. It takes time, but please go over there and subscribe and hit the little bell, because we are be working very hard on some new content, and I'd love for you to be there. You can also go to my website, which is terrihardin.com, and as soon as I figure out how to respond to you, I will. But it's crazy, And then pumpkin classes, you go to my store. Let me just find it. There it is. go to my store and in the search box put pumpkin classes, and you can sign up for a virtual pumpkin class. It's $20, and there you'll see a DVD, and you'll also see tools if you are so inclined to buy that package. There's a special package that has the DVD and the tools together, saves you a little money. And we're gonna carve. I have found some pumpkins, so it's gonna happen. Those of you who have signed up for the class and bought the tools and DVD, I will mail them out today and tomorrow. So look for that tracking number, and they will be on their way to you. So don't panic. It's just this is the week that I had to number my cachets. Those of you who have seen my Walton Ward cachet, or the envelope with the little art on it, or those of you who have purchased them, I had not numbered the rest of them. So I sat with Michael Luzzy, my mentor, and we went through and did as many as we could. We still have work to do, but they're ready to be sold. I've just kind of pulled back. I'm about to release them into the stamp collecting community, and then I'll do a full campaign. I'll do a full little show about those cachets. So if you're wondering what a cachet is it a potpourri that you put in your drawer? No, they are beautiful little art pieces that are stunning, and I will share those with you maybe Monday along with the ghosts. But we're really going to talk ghosts on Monday, okay? All righty. Woohoo! Yeah! So excited. So let's get into the Ask Me Anything. Oh, yes, and the event calendar here is for the show. You can see the dates for my class, but you can also learn more about Outrageous Pumpkins. And we think they are going to rerun the show at least one more time. When they announce that, I will have that here on my website. If you're someone who just wants to go direct, you have a short attention span, this is where you want to go. Okay? Dear, 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 dear. You know, it's crazy, right? Okay, so let's get to our Ask Me Anything. This topical question is a yes and a no, okay? Governor Gavin Newsom, Disneyland, and other amusement park operators are still at odds since he said earlier this week he's going to be stubborn about following the science, and he's in no hurry to release guidance to the park. But today it was announced by the OC Register they had gone to Disneyland. Let me say that again. The health department went through Disneyland. All right? So, okay? Because I think Gavin Newsom, and I'm going to defend him here, because I don't want his job. I am amazed at how he's handling things. I mean, you're not going to please everybody. And right now, a lot of people are angry at him, okay? But when people won't follow the suggestions of science, including the President of our United States, what is a person supposed to do? He's got to do what they feel is best for their state. Period. End of story. Okay? You can agree with me, you cannot agree with me. But personally, it's not Gavin that's the problem. It's people who will not social distance, and it's people who will not wear a face covering. Okay? This is the problem. He doesn't want to have another spike. I don't want to have another spike. And guess what, guys? You don't want another spike. All right? But what Disneyland was asking, let's be clear. Ooh, I sound like a politician. That's scary. Let's be clear, Disneyland was not asking to open. They were simply saying, please, sir, come down, take a look, and tell us what we got to do. Isn't that what Disneyland was saying? That is exactly what Disneyland was saying, as were other theme parks like Knott's Berry Farm. So finally, thanks to, and I'm not going to just say it's the doctors who are standing for it, it's people like us who have these broadcast social media channels that say, what's it going to hurt, guys? Trust me, going to Disneyland when there's nobody there is super fun. So go have a good time and help Disney figure out how they need to open. Because I'm going to say it again, the other parks don't count. What you learn in the other parks don't count with Disneyland. We are so much smaller. But that was a good start. Disneyland took what they had. They realized they're smaller. So they said, okay, we're smaller. These are what we think is going to work for our little park. Okay? But they needed the CDC to come and take a look and say, okay, yes, no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes, no, no, yes, no, 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 yes, 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 yes. You see what I'm saying? They just wanted feedback. As I said on Terry's Tribe today, it's like I say to you, my team, who is R&Ding my Hitchhiking Ghosts, I don't like it. And that's not right. That's not good. That's not gonna come. That's not gonna work. And I don't give them any feedback about what will work. That's all Disneyland's people were asking. We have done as much as we can without your input. Now we need your input. And on my feed today, on my little phone, it told me just at 9 o'clock that had happened. Orange County Register. Look it up. So, yes, he's still going to be tough. You know, he doesn't want us to have another rise, and we're coming into a time when we're going to have the flu and COVID. Yay. Really? So he's got to be careful. This is not an easy job, okay? If you don't like what he's doing, run, all right? Run for office, all right? You don't like what Gavin's doing, run for office, okay? This is what I say. I think he's I have to tell you, full disclosure, I was not a fan of his when he was running. I really thought he was too much of a peacock. I really did. I just, he didn't affect me that much. I was just kind of like, eh. But boy, I've really come to think he's a fighter, and I admire him for it. I just think he wants to say a few swear words at some people that will not social distance and wear masks, and it's got to be frustrating. It's got to be really frustrating, because when I go out, I can't stay out for very long because people don't know how to social distance in certain areas. My Costco, for example, they're great going in and they're great leaving, but in the middle, especially near the chicken, and you're like, please. I mean, how many times you want to be, do you, okay? It's tough. And it's not because people are, I'm not saying, it's not because everybody's being obstinate or mean. This is not natural to wear a mask and to social distance. Yesterday, I went to work on my cachets with Michael Luzze, and I stepped in to hug him. And he stepped back because we forget. The minute he took a step back, I took a step back because it was like, oh my God, there it's even me. We're not designed for this. This is tough. So cut people a break. Give them a break. You want to blame someone? I'm sure Gavin is like there. Blame me, okay. But the blame is on those of you who will not social distance and will not wear a mask for whatever reason. Okay? They're not asking you to wear a hazmat suit. They're not asking you. It's not easy to leave, get your car keys, get your cell phone, and oh yeah, I got to get a mask. All right, I get it. All right, I got hand sanitizer in my car because some things you still got to push buttons. I got, you know, a friend of mine gave me a great hack, which was instead of wearing gloves, would have put a little cheapo sandwich bag on your hand, and that way you can just toss it. It falls off your hand after you're done. You don't even have to worry about it. That cost less than gloves, and they don't, you know, snap everywhere. Brilliant idea. Thank you, Carson Scribner. So that's what I'm saying. This is the thing I'm saying. Just adapt a little bit. People don't like change. I don't like it. I would rather go out and everything be hunky-dory, birdies tweeting and all that kind of stuff, but that's not our world right now. So this is why, you know, you want to play the blame game. You're that kind of person. You go right ahead, and I'm telling you right now, because this is my channel. I'm telling you right now that it's not his fault. Everybody wants to get back to work, and Lord knows he probably would love to get everybody back to work, but he's got to be careful. And he is listening to science. All right? Science is telling him, whoa, go slow. We're seeing outbreaks in New York again. We're seeing rises in parts of New York. We're seeing rises in other places where they've really waved it open. What he doesn't want to happen is the saloon door syndrome. Okay? Yes, you can open. No, you can't. Yes, you no, yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, because people get comfortable. Okay? So, topical question of the day. This is my, but I want you to all understand that because we discuss this every Friday, don't think they're not watching. And we kept saying, Disneyland doesn't want to necessarily open, but they want to have a common goal to open, and we can't do it without your input. Health people, scientist people, government people, we need you to come down. So on Monday, we did that great, I did the shout out to them saying, go to Disneyland, it's fun. I've been there by myself several times. Nobody in the park. It's amazing. So take the opportunity. Make it fun, make it interesting, and then help Disneyland out because they do need to reopen. We need them. Many of you need them. Like water to drink, like food to eat, many of you need Disneyland in your diet plan, don't you? That's why it needs to open. Okay? All right. Should Newsom just forthcoming say that large public events such as concerts, live theater, professional points are not permitted right now, and the experts he's talked to view amusement parks in a similar way? Well, as I've said before, okay, you've got, let's take our sports, for example. I'm not into sports, but they get together to work out even though they're told they can't get together. Well, they want to be ready for the next game. Okay? They're not saying, bite me, I'm going to go out and have a drink, I'm going to go crowd with my friends. They're saying, we just want to work out together. And yet, if someone has gone outside the circle, now they've got COVID happening. We've got colleges that have opened up, they've got COVID everywhere. Okay? Because it just takes one person. One person. And now, maybe the President of the United States feels great, but the White House is running rampant with it. Only takes one. This is why. If your city officials cannot abide by the rules, how are the people going to abide by the rules? Everybody. How can they? You know? And whatever you feel about the President of the United States, you need to understand that he is our fearless leader. You lead from the front, and you lead by example. So, just saying. So that's so just so you know, OC Register, Orange County Register, a newspaper, by the way, just the feed came across, because I follow them, feed came across that the CDC had visited with Disneyland, and they are putting stuff in place, okay? Cheer! Because we all did that, guys. The more you post and the more you urge California to open Disneyland by simply going and seeing, the better. Now, what does that mean? As long as we're in purple, it's not going to open. Why is purple at the top and not red? I don't get that. I don't know. It's always been red at the top, and then orange, and then yellow, and then what, blue and green or something? But where did purple come from? I don't know. Somebody must, I don't know. But purple's always been such a lovely, fun color that I don't know why it's the worst tier. Maybe it's to get our attention or something. But as long as we sit in the purple tier, we cannot even think about opening the parks. Okay? But Orange County is in red. They have to be careful. They have to be very, very careful, because if they bounce up into purple, there is no Disneyland. But if they can bounce down to yellow, colors are hilarious. If they then there's more hope, okay? So guys, post and urge people to just do a little more. We're doing so well in California. We're really doing good. If we keep it up, Disneyland can open, okay? And if there's any place I think they can social distance properly, because you guys know how much it would mean to you to have it open, no masks off for selfie, you know, just do a cool mask. You guys are so clever. Just have your cute little masks and your mouse ears, and go around and just celebrate it when it opens. And it will. I really believe it will. God's truth, I believe it will open. But it's got to be you guys, the fans who support Disney so much, have to follow the rules and the distancing, okay? Don't lose yourselves. Don't lose, because you're going to be so excited to see cast members. You're going to be so excited to see everybody, to see your friends, to see... I almost hugged my friend yesterday. Thank goodness his brain was on point. You see what I mean? So I even flub up. So that's what I'm saying. We're not putting blame. We're saying it's going to take work. But we're up for it to get our parks open, aren't we? Aren't we? Can we make that pact? Can we make that agreement that when Disneyland's open, we're going to do everything we can in our little bodies and our little minds to keep it there? Okay. With another coronavirus wave expected, yes. To overwhelm hospitals in conjunction with the flu, yes. Should park reopenings have to wait until there is widespread quick testing, a safe and effective vaccine, or the deaths per 100,000 coronavirus cash? Well, this is what's going to happen, guys. This is why, while we're in the purple, this is happening. I don't see a vaccine happening this year. Okay, one that people will take. If the scientists happen to miraculously make something and they all come in agreement and they say, you know, we've upped the testing, we moved it, everything is wonderful. Okay. Maybe. But I think, like you've mentioned here, the quicker testing, which is not fever testing, guys, because asymptomatic people have no fever, all right? However, my doctor says that usually if a person has a fever, they're sick everywhere else. So, you know, they really wouldn't be, you're kind of not very bright if you're going sick to see something, right? You don't want to hide it. You know, is it attempted murder if you know you have coronavirus and you still go out without a mask and walk amongst people, is a question that I keep getting asked. I don't know the answer, but it's a pretty scary thought, isn't it? Very scary thought. So we got to be careful. We need to be careful. And I think the park should have the parks, I get you want to open. I'm really happy you got a visit from the CDC and you were able to state your case to them. Look at what we've done. What else more do we have to do? That was a perfect and legitimate question, and a perfect and legitimate reason to say, go on camera and say, hey guys, this is all we want so that we can move forward. That's a good request. They weren't saying, let us open now. They want that, of course. But what they're really saying is, just give us some guidance, man. We don't have a manual here. I don't have a book. You know, you guys are the only ones that can tell us, but we've done everything that you've generally told us to do. Now we need specific training. So it's kind of like an online course. You're taking an online course and you think you're doing okay, but there comes a time when you need to talk with the teacher, maybe one-on-one on a Zoom call, and make sure specifically what you're doing is working. So they have every right. So as far as coronavirus cases, we have to go in California. We have to drop into the lower tiers. That's the rules. You know how I am about rules. You've seen Outrageous Pumpkins. It's the rule. We cannot open parks when we're in purple. So we have to get out of purple. Now, Orange County is in the red, but there's certain areas in California that threaten to go back into the purple. I do not believe Orange County is one of them, which is why Orange County was continuing to push, because it looks like they might just get into the yellow. Okay? But here's the thing. You're going to have people. This is why Gavin and scientists are being careful, because not only Orange County is going to be going to Disneyland, are they, guys? They're going to be coming from Ventura, which may go back into the purple. They're going to be coming from San Diego, which may go back up into the purple. And they're going to be coming into Orange County, which is going to be in the yellow. How long you think Orange County is going to stay in the yellow if people don't practice the rules and they're coming from everywhere? And you know you will. So this is why Gavin, it may seem on the surface, he's being a controlling son of a gun, but he's not. He has so much data, and the scientists have so much data they've got to look over. You may be in a place where COVID-19 has no cases, but you've seen people with no cases, and then people come into your town, and then you have cases. How do you deal with that? And that's what he's thinking about. Okay, so that's my feeling, and I'm sticking to it. What's more important, the lives or livelihoods of Californians? Are amusement parks essential or not? You can answer that question, right? What did I say at the beginning of this broadcast? For many of you, Disneyland, which I don't even think is an amusement park, sorry. But Disneyland is an experience, isn't it? Disney World is an experience. Animal Kingdom is an experience. Everything that Disney has done in the amusement park world, we don't look at it as an amusement park. We look at it as an experience. We're working to give you an experience as Imagineers. This is coming from an Imagineer. For many of you, Disneyland is the air you breathe, the food you eat, and the water you drink. Am I right or am I right? So to ask for me to say amusement parks, to make a statement of whether they're essential, and of course they're essential. You guys need Disneyland. If it was just an amusement park, you know, pops up in a day or two and you ride the whirligigs or the tilt whirls and you eat your cotton candy, that's an amusement park. County fair-ish, right? But how many of you are going to sit there and say Disneyland's an amusement park? Seriously? Dragon's Lair Paris. You go underneath that castle and you see that dragon. Is that an amusement park? That's an experience. You are standing opposite a giant, living, breathing dragon. Why? Because I'm a dragon freak, and that's the way I wanted to do it. And that's what every Imagineer does. They strive to create an experience. Do you stand in line for 3 hours plus when it was so busy in Animal Kingdom to ride Pandora because it's an amusement park ride? Heck no. Every meticulous detail in Disney is because Imagineers just don't go, hey, how about a mug? They really work hard. They want to create an experience. They want to take you from your world into other worlds. And then they want to make it better. Wasn't the Jungle Cruise just an amazing ride? And then they put the piranha fish in. You're saying to yourself, they couldn't make it any better. And then the piranha fish went in. It's like my favorite thing now. I get all excited because I know I'm getting near the piranha fish. The Haunted Mansion. When you rode the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland, if you've been to Disneyland, did you just think it was just the best, whether it was Nightmare Before Christmas or not? And then they added the bride and the Hatbox Ghost? Were you not even happier? You know you were. Why? Because it's not an amusement park. It is an experience. And you need it, and it is essential. Yes, it is. But we can't be crazy about this. All right? We have to be careful. And because you know Disneyland's not an experience, and is an experience, and you know how important it is to you, your life's blood that pumps through your veins, you wear your ears and you see your friends, and you ride these attractions, and you eat the food, and you have you have your routines, you take your pictures in front of the castle, because this is an experience. It is up to you and you alone to follow the rules. If you don't, that park will close and we will have the saloon door syndrome. Okay? Please remember that people like Gavin Newsom are not like you. You are Disney enthusiasts, advocates, and you need these parks. They help you to breathe. It's like me. If I couldn't sculpt, I don't know what I'd do, guys, because sculpting is my life. It's my blood. It's my bone. It's my marrow to sculpt and create. If I couldn't do it, I don't know. If I was told, I get squirrely when I'm not sculpting. I begin to change as a person because it is part of what makes me me. And there are so many of you out there that Disneyland is a part of you that makes you you. And you've seen changes in yourself because you haven't had that infusion of Disneyland. Yeah, you can ride the virtual things, you can look on YouTube and stuff like that, but it's not the same, is it? No, it's not. So just remember, when it does open, and I believe Disneyland's going to open, okay? With all my heart, I believe it. You got to go in like a lion, guys. Make the pledge. You're going to go in like a lion, and you're going to follow those rules, and you're going to help each other to follow those rules so the park stays open, okay? Please, let's shake on it. All right, let's shake on it. Let's shake on it. Because that's what's going to close it, not Gavin. What's going to close it is if it has an outbreak in COVID. Done. All right? Okay. You can make it. You can make it happen. When it does open, you can keep it open. Okay? Walt Disney World has more space. Shanghai has more space. But they're open because the people dedicated themselves into following the rules as best as possible. And I watched Disneyland Paris, and they forgot themselves as they were exiting. They all clumped up. Only takes a little time, only takes a little bit. Just remember, distance. It's like when you're driving. Don't run up on the guy's trunk. Give yourself some car lengths, right? Do the same for yourself. Okay, you're going to have a great time. It's only going to be, what? I think they're giving them 30% capacity, 20% capacity. You're going to have a ball there, guys. You guys that get your reservations and go in there, you follow the rules, it's going to be great. You're going to have a great time. And then you got to report back to me. You really got to report back to me, what is it like? Because there's so many things in Disneyland that depend on this close quarters. Our lines switch back on each other. Our aisles are narrower. You go in the castle, it's what, this wide? Barely, So this is what I'm talking about. The Peter Pan ride, although it's outdoors, you're all on top of each other. Oh, that line, I can't even imagine that line. So it has to be less people if you're going to do Fantasyland Peter Pan ride, because it's always jammed. So now they're going to be 6 feet apart. What, that line is going to, good thing it's going to be 25-30% because of where's that line going to go? Fantasyland is tight. You got Mr. Toad's next to Dumbo, next to Peter Pan, across from Snow White. The carousel's in the middle. You understand what I'm saying? Tight, 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 tight. So it's great that the health department came and said, yeah, this is a little more challenging. You can't use the other parks as a basis because they thought about space there. Every single one, including Hong Kong, which is a more smaller park, but it's got bigger space. Okay? This is what I keep saying. If you've been with me before, you say, boy, she keeps saying that. Okay. Any thoughts about the vice presidential debate and the fly? I am so sad that the main thing that people got out of the vice presidential debate was this fly on his head. What have we turned into? Are we really the Eloi in the time machine, where we float along and all we want is to be happy, even if it's stepping on the necks of others? We don't want to know this. We don't want to know that. We don't care. We don't want to get involved. The happiest thing is that you saw a fly on Pence's head. That was the big news. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Do you know I didn't even notice the fly? I was so enraptured by their debate because I knew one thing, they weren't going to be, it wasn't going to be the WWF like the presidential one. And I just couldn't watch that. That brought tears to my eyes. I really didn't want to watch them wrestle, and I thought they might. But on this one, they were painstakingly polite, sometimes through gritted teeth with each other. And I really love the fact that Kamala Harris does not allow anything to get past her. That's because she's a woman, okay? We've fought as women for a long time. And unfortunately, our silence is usually what gets us. And she knows this. So she can't let a man railroad and accuse her of stuff. If it's absolutely wrong, she steps up and says, wait a minute. No. We're not going to let that one go. Now, many of you that were watching The Fly, you may not have heard this, but go back on YouTube and watch how this woman fights. Okay? Because she does not let him get away with nothing. He accuses her of something. He starts to judge her on a couple of areas. She doesn't allow it. Now, I'm not saying one was better than the other. Well, actually, I really thought Kamala rocked it out of the park. I'm just going to go on record as saying that. I thought she was amazing. But I love a fighter. And she fought through the whole thing. She had that smile that was sort of that rip your face off smile if you start to say things that are not true about me anymore. You know, but she couldn't. She kept her candor. She kept her demeanor, and Pence did too. I mean, so much. I didn't see that fly. So honestly, I was really enraptured in what each other had to say. I want to know. I got to vote. And the vice presidents are very important in this round because we got two people that are running for presidents that are old guys. And when the president got COVID, whichever way that door swings, it made us think, you know, we could have these vice presidents become president. So it's not just about who you want for president, but who you want for president should these older men not serve a whole term. You got to think about stuff like that, you know. But if you're all looking at flies on people's heads, are you thinking about that? I'm just asking. I don't want to start a fight here, but I was really sad when the thing that really rocked the park was the fly. It's a fly on his head. Get over it, was my feeling. And I'll always tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. Boy, that was really funny. And I was so eager to get on Twitter and tweet about it. No, I wasn't. I was sad. Because I really think they should have let the fly go. I mean, somebody actually timed how long the fly was on his head. Boy, do you need a life. You asked this question. Okay. As a woman, have you ever faced toxic masculinity in the workplace? And how have you handled it? Every day. And on top of it, I'm light-skinned. I am half black. And look at me, I'm white. So, you know, my own father said, why do you want dreadlocks? Okay? It's not that big a deal. My dad. You want to know why I have dreadlocks? Well, for one thing, they're a great hairstyle for my hair texture, which is my father's, all right? But secondly, if I do all the relaxers and all of the things that you see black women doing with their hair, you're never going to think that they're a white person because they have that beautiful brown skin I don't happen to have. My sister has it. My dad's side of the family all have it, but I don't. So if I do my hair in all the straighteners, all the relaxers, and that's what it takes, guys, to get all that beautiful wavy hair that you see on many black women. If I do that, I look like a white person. And I live in Hollywood where people don't look at you for more than 2 seconds before they judge, okay? They look at you and go, oh, that's probably a nice person. But this way, with dreadlocks or with braids or whatever, they look at me and go, something's different about her. I want that. Why? Because I don't want to erase my father in my making, okay? I can look completely white, what my mother calls passing, if I wanted to. But then, how does that edify my father? Okay? So on top of being a woman and having to fight every day, I'm also a light-skinned black woman. Okay? Half black woman. But the point is, I have this light skin, and some people are angry at me because I have the light skin and they're white. Some people are angry at me that I have this light skin and they're black. You know, there's a reason Cher's saying half breed, because sometimes that's what people feel like. I was never made to feel like that because I've got a great dad, and I never let it, poison isn't effective unless you take it. So as long as I am rubber and you are glue, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you, right? Okay, so let's get back to your question. Yes, all the time. I'm one of these laugh and plaster girls, which means I'm not a girl. I do sew. I do figure finishing. I've also done ink and paint in animation a little bit, and those were mostly women. Okay, so in the world, they think of women as people who do the costumes at Disneyland, the fabrication of the birds, putting on the feathers and things. This is what people think. I'm not saying it's right. Or they do the things like that. They do not think of a woman out in the field in a pair of combat boots with a hat, chainsaw, lath and plaster, making the actual mountain. That's me. Okay, I've got the chainsaw. I'm carving the mountain work. I'm doing the rock work. I'm doing the cement laying. I'm doing the smoothing out. Okay, I'm working the cherry picker. Okay, so in a sea of 100 men, there's 2 women. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so yes, I get it all the time. I have to decide right then, as a woman in a shop where there may only be 3 women to every 50 to 100 men, what kind of position am I going to take as a woman? And am I going to be this woman who walks in and says, hey dudes, stop with your behavior? Or am I just going to show them that I can do equal as well? Okay, so I've always said it's better to show someone than to talk. So I showed them. So I did this. I should show you a picture if I think about it. I was at this shop for Disney that did parade floats for Disney, and I did Mrs. Godzilla. We did Mrs. Godzilla because Disney didn't want to pay for the Japan for the rights to Godzilla. So they put curlers in the hair of God, and it was Mrs. Godzilla. True story. Yes, it's true. But anyway, when I walked into the shop, I had a chainsaw, a 24-inch chainsaw on one arm, and I had my toolbox in the other, and my hair was pulled back, and I was wearing grubby clothes because I get grubby. And the men just stared at me. They just stared at me walking because I was like one of 2 women. I think the other woman was the receptionist, okay? So in I walk, and I said, I'm here to carve Mrs. Godzilla. And the guy was like, really? You? Do we get angry when they say, really you? Or do we say, look, dude, just show me the foam, where the foam is? So he showed me where it was, and I asked for give me the criteria, how long, how wide, how tall, how deep, and then okay, fire up that chainsaw and go for it. Dust flies everywhere. When the dust clears and there you are, a woman with your chainsaw. No, I wasn't in a bathing suit. I don't know how women hold power tools and work in a bathing suit. I haven't figured that out yet. So I was in my grubbies. But in less than 2 days, I had it roughed out. In 2 weeks, it was done. Why? Because I work a mean chainsaw. So basically, the guys realized, even though it's a woman, I could keep up. Why does a woman have to keep up? Don't ask why. It's the way it is in the entertainment industry. And it's the way it is when you're in a job that's, why does a woman is a fireman, firefighter, because some women don't like fireman. I say, poison isn't effective unless you take it. But anyway, as a firefighter, the woman has to keep up. Why? Because she could be part of the problem, not part of the solution. But she can keep up. We've seen women that can lift truck tires. So if that's you, You just go in, you do the thing, and you show them. And then they're like, hey, man, they just want to make sure you're not the weaker sex. We're not. Now, me, if I wanted to be a firefighter, forget it. But that has nothing to do with being a woman. It has to do that I can't move a truck tire. I don't know how they do it. They're amazing, okay? But that's what you got to figure as a woman. You're fighting every day of your life. This is the way it is. Making less money, that's something you've got to keep being an advocate for, because that's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? If you're doing the same job the same way in the same situation, equal pay. I'm right there. Yeah. But I don't mind showing that I can do it. I don't want to be someone that's going to go head to head with you. Just let me show you that I can do what you do, and sometimes better. So, and if you collaborate, we're going to make it magical. Instead of worrying about whether I'm a woman or I'm a man, let's talk about, am I an artist? And am I creative? The guy who helped me with my ghosts is a man. They're a husband and wife team, but I've known him since he was single, and he is a rock star. But we are absolutely unstoppable when we put our heads together. And he is not my husband. My husband gets in the mix. Oh, it's unbelievable. But the point is, you get past the gender. Think of it as a thing that happens. Sometimes you've been in this industry for a long time and they want to see your resume. You've been years. They could Google and see everything you've ever done since you were a termite. But no, we want to see your resume. You could have worked with him for months. No. What have you done lately? It's a power play. But you can get offended and walk away, or you can say, hey, here's what I've done. And by the way, I do it 10 times faster, and I'm a lot more expensive. So you deserve what you're worth, but you're going to have to fight for it. And I think men have to fight for it just as much. Well, not just as much as women, but they got to fight for it too. If you really want to do it and it's your dream job, you're going to have to fight for it. Period. End of story. Okay? Why you? But don't walk away from why you. Go, I'll tell you why me. Because I'm friggin' good at what I do, and I have, on top of being good at what I do, I'm not going to leave you in the lurch. The minute I have a problem, I'm going to stick with it. And I think I've told you the story about mares versus geldings in the horse world. Many cowboys ride mares. You want to know why? Because a gelding will give up. That's a boy horse, okay? Mares are a girl horse. A girl horse will go to the death, says cowboys. She will do her last breath to get the job done. Why? Because she's a female. And in nature, the females are the hunters. The females are those that don't give up. And the females, when mama ain't happy, nobody's happy, has real merit. If you don't believe me, just approach a baby. You remember that woman who approached the cute little bison? And Mama Bison came out and gave her a ride? Mothers just don't even think about their own personal peril, about their own personal situation when it comes to their kids. Why? Because we give life. We are the givers of life. This is a big deal. This is a part of your body when it happens. I've never given birth, but I've had the pleasure of being with my best friend and catching the baby when she did. So I've been as close to it as I possibly could without having a child. But this is why women just don't give up. They don't. And so I am really excited about a woman president someday, because I think our country really needs it. Really needs it. I wish it was this year. But it is what it is. Now you know my political view. Put a woman in the White House. And if what I saw Kamala do, I think she's a good candidate. I don't know her very well. I've only gotten to see her a little bit, but I liked what I saw. I thought she held her own, and he attacked her. and sometimes bullied her and spoke over her again. You know, it's like just talking over someone is not going to prove your point. You know, be polite. Be, you know, but don't. If she says something that is not true about you, Pence, you have the right to rebuttal, but so does she. She has every right to not let you to slander her. I'm the same way. If I was in her position and you were slandering me, I'd be all over you like she was. Okay, but I'd be worse. So she's got that dignity, and all anybody got from it was that friggin' fly. So that's frustrating for me. President Trump has ruled out participating in a second debate. Did you ever see the $64 million question? Are y'all too young for the $64 million question? My husband and I were sitting there after the presidential debate, and the whole time during the presidential debate, my husband said, turn off the mics. Control room, turn the mic off so that the other person has a chance to answer. Turn the mic off. My husband's in production, so it sounded quite brilliant to me. But let's put him in a booth. Okay, let's do a booth. $6,400 question had a guy in a sound booth. Okay, so if they want to be live, you put them each in a booth. They push a microphone to speak, and if they overspeak, you cut the mic off, and they're in the booth. But now you've got them completely quarantined and isolated from each other. Mr. President, you go first. Vice President, you go next. And that way they can speak, they can be orderly, they can be safe, and they can be live. Put them in a booth. Build these little booths. Put them in it. Why not? I understand Trump wants to be live. The reason is because if he's virtual, he can't interrupt. He's got to stop interrupting because that doesn't look good. Okay? I'm sorry, that doesn't look good. But that's why he wants to be live, because virtually they can, you know, start and stop virtually. They have control. He wants control. Okay? Regardless of what you feel about him, he wants control. You know, I worked for him years ago. You know, years ago before he was president, he could not do anything without putting his name on it. That's for real. So he doesn't play by rules. This is one of the reasons followers who like him follow him. He doesn't play by rules usually, but in this case you got to. If you both agree to something, you've got to stick with the agreement. But if one is not doing what he agreed and the other one's trying to comply, that looks weak. You see? You have to not only as a candidate know, yes, I agreed to follow the rules, but now this person is railroading me and I'm not getting a word in edgewise. So now I got to jump in and just push as well, or I'm not going to get heard. And if I'm not heard, people are going to think I'm weak out there in the camera. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot more going on in your brain besides answering the questions and trying to say why you're good to run a country. Okay? Both sides. I know, because I was on a radio show called Combat Radio. It was a reason it was called Combat Radio. And 3 or 4 guests, he's a great guy, Ethan, and Dettenmeyer, I think, forgive me if I crucified your name, but anyway, he's a wonderful guy. But he puts 2 or 3 guests on, and you're in like a free-for-all. Well, if you don't push the button and not speak, they think why was that guest very interesting? They never talked. Well, if they're polite and they're waiting for an in, you're never going to get it. So this is what I'm talking about. I am in the entertainment industry and I'm looking at everything. So my husband's solution was have control of the mics to turn them off if someone just won't shut up or be quiet. I think shut up was harsh, but he was getting tense. You know, you keep getting interrupted, it makes you angry. And why did he do that? He just wanted to be the one that was on there all the time. He doesn't follow the rules. So you know this about Trump not following the rules, so you got to work accordingly. So turn the mics off. But if you're someone who doesn't want to stifle the president by turning the mic off because now you're going to be accused of being for the other candidate because you turned the mic off, then put him in a booth. And tell him, if you continue to talk, we're turning the mic off. Okay? And announce that before the next debate. So I understand they don't want to do it virtually. I get that because too much control to others. But if you want to do it live, I'm sure they can find a booth. I don't even think they have to build a booth. They can find a booth. But during the $6,400 question, they had these isolation booths so that the person was put in an even dating game. I mean, even newlywed game. They isolated the people so that the other person could answer the question, and the person who was in being sequestered didn't hear the answer. All I'm saying is acquire some of those. I'm sure we have plenty. So that's my solution. At least 34 people connected to the White House, including the president, got COVID-19 at this point. Based on the first debate, should there be another 1 or 2 debates originally planned? Absolutely. We need to know who to vote for. But we got to do it with caution, don't we? I'm talking to you, President Trump. You ain't immune. You say stuff that comes out of your mouth sometimes. I just don't know why you say it. You got to be careful. Okay? Be careful what you're saying because people follow you. There are people out there that love you. And I'm saying don't open your mouth before the brain kicks in. Be careful. But I say booths. Put them each in a little booth, 6 feet apart, in a booth. That way, if President Trump doesn't want to wear a mask, he doesn't have to. That's his world in that booth. And the other booth, you've got your booth and your booth. Okay? You've got your vice president in a booth and the other person in a booth, and they're good. Talk, talk, talk. Stop. Okay? And if you keep talking, and let the other one talk. Okay? We as a people, I'm praying, or you're not praying for another fly on a head. But what I'm thinking is, honestly, without the thing, because the fly was a problem for me, honestly. I'm really trying hard. There's a lot of things at stake here in this election, and I want to vote really. I want to do my due diligence and votes, and I urge you to do the same. Just really go for it. But there's propositions here in California that I'm concerned about. If I vote one way, I'm not voting for something else. I'm a little shell-shocked from our gas tax. We have this horrific gas tax here in California. And we got it because it was under the guise of something else. They snuck it underneath something else. And we thought we were voting for one thing, and it was to raise our gas tax. So we're all a little paranoid now because we don't want to vote for something the way it appears. We want to know what's between the lines. So we're a little nervous. I think I can speak for a lot of Californians. That gas tax is it's really annoying. It's more than annoying. It's ridiculous. But it was gotten in what I feel a covert way, and now we have other propositions on the ballot that I have a bad feeling have covert intentions. So I'm really working hard to make sure that I vote the way I can, and I hope everyone will do this, because one of the things that is always in jeopardy is our Prop 13, which protects a lot of our seniors, including my dad and my mom. So I don't want Prop 13 to go away, and I really have to do my study to make sure Prop 13 is protected. And if you have parents that are under Prop 13, that thing that keeps the property taxes low for people who got it back then, you can't get it now. I don't have it. And believe me, the difference between people who have Prop 13 property taxes and what I pay, huge. Huge. And people on fixed incomes, this is how they stay in their houses, right? So honestly, we got to protect that. So what I'm saying here is I fully want to hear debates between the presidential candidates. Really badly I want to hear it. And if Trump doesn't want to do virtual, I mean, even Biden said, push it back a week. Let's do a week, so that you can be sure to get your test and be COVID-19 negative, even though the negative tests aren't really very conclusive, I hear. At least you have a few negative tests under your belt before he gets on the stage. But put him in a booth and then you don't have to worry. But he didn't want to push it back either. So I think he just wants to be there so that he can control the playing field. And he really did, that first debate, control the playing field by interrupting and bulldozing like a bull in a china shop in that first one. So that's my feeling. Let's see. What do you think of the efforts in several states and by the Postmaster General to disenfranchise, intimidate, or harass voters? Why aren't they being arrested? Back in the day, I keep thinking of Nixon and what he did. And he really got nailed to the wall for it. And now I see things happening in our government and they're just kind of getting, you know, voting by mail is going to be fine, guys. It's going to be fine. They're trying to scare you. This is something I believe is really bad. In-person voting is going to be challenging for us. And it's going to probably be the biggest voter turnout in history. I always vote by mail. I always do an absentee ballot. Not because I don't want to go to the polling place, but I never know where I'm going to be. I travel all over the world. I always do a ballot because I don't want to ever miss voting. I missed one time and it drove me crazy. And it was a teeny election, but they're all important. So I vote absentee all the time. And my vote is counted. And now they have these tracking systems and these tracing systems. You can see it all the way up to the opening of the whole deal. I think you're fine. But I don't like harassing voters. They do this in other countries by shooting people and they don't go to the polls. I can't believe in the United States they're trying to intimidate you to not vote. What is that about? What are they afraid of? Why is the Postmaster General doing that? Let me just ask you this. Is the Postmaster so sure, not confident with who he backs that he has to do cheating? Do they really believe the current president who says he can win can't win? So they're doing this crap? If the president is resorting to this, does he really deep down in his tummy believe he can't win? Why are these people doing this? If you believe you can win, win. Why are you doing this covert stuff? Why are you putting the fear into people? Why are you behaving this way? And the reason, the next question is, upset that Trump is refusing to pledge to a peaceful transition. Well, he's going to ask for a recount. If he's out of office, he doesn't play by the rules. We've seen it. Okay? He's going to want a recount. The reason he's saying he's not going to step down is because he won't. He'll demand a recount. Okay? He's going to fight till the very end. They're going to have to really prove to him. I think this is one of the reasons that many people are putting in your minds that the ballots can be tampered with. Because he wants to be able to say, should he not win, let me say it that way, should he not win, he wants to say that they were tampered with, and that's the only way that the other side wins. The other side. Biden wins. You understand what I'm saying? He's putting it in there. I don't understand why he's doing that. I don't get that. Why would you do that if you really believe you're going to win? And he says, we're winning. So if we're going to win, we got this, it's all good. We're going to do this. Then why all of this stuff to the American people to make them afraid? Stop. Cut it out. Do the best campaign you can do for you. Biden, do the best campaign you can do for you. And may the best man win. Done. Okay? I don't think these scare tactics are a good idea on either side. All right? I've never liked it. Why should I vote for you? Because of who you are. All right? It's my feeling. And understand, if I go to the presidential debate, Donald Trump was being so aggressive in overriding Biden. And Biden, people were making fun. This is what I'm talking about, the camera. Biden suffered from stuttering. Okay? You have to, it's like there's several movies about people who stutter and how they have to work to overcome this anomaly. Okay? So when you get flustered, you have to stop and think a little bit about the words that come out. So I want you to remember that he has this challenge. It's not an excuse, but when you get a person flustered, sometimes they fall back. So for example, I suffered from severe asthma, and one day I got caught in a riptide. I know to breathe calmly and to just wait to see which way the bubbles are going and float to the top. But I felt like I was drowning. So I panicked, therefore went into this full-on panic and nearly drowned as a result of it. You have to try and keep that mantra down so you are calm. It's no excuse, and I'll bet you Biden would say to me, no, that's not the situation for me, Terry. But the reality of it is that way back in the beginning, he did stutter. He's had to overcome that, and so sometimes that can pop up. I'm not saying it did. I'm not saying that that was the thing, and I'm not making an excuse. But what I am saying is if you're battling with something else in addition, people look at it as a weakness, just as I pointed out. So that's why I want more debates between the presidents, and I want them to get it across to Trump. He can't be a bull in a china shop. He's got to let the other guy speak. Because I want to see his value and I want to see Biden value. I want to see value, not bullying. I'm averse to bullying, and I felt that Trump bullied. I didn't like it. I don't want to watch the WWF. If I did, I'd be on the WWF, World Wrestling Foundation. If I wanted to see the president candidates wrestle, I would. But the point is I just want to know. Now, they're not going to listen to me, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I want to see. So I want as many presidential debates as they can squeeze in. Virtual or otherwise, I really don't care. As long as they're able to say what they want to say and get their point across, they're trying to get a point. And then we evaluate what they say, okay? It's only fair. Debating means sharing. Okay? Let the person have a say. All right? So that's my feeling about that. Halloween question? Oh, thank God. Since we've entered the season of Halloween, do you like to be scared? What's the most frightening thing you encountered in real life? Puberty. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. It was pretty scary. I don't like gore. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Most modern scary movies today are about a lot of blood and a lot of guts. That doesn't affect me. I'm in the film industry. I also have looked at, I had this friend named Cadaver Man who helped me to see a body and showed me a body being dissected. I'm an artist. I am a sculptor. I'm all about anatomy. It doesn't affect me. I went to a body farm when I was doing forensic science sculpting, where you take a skull and you sculpt it to look like someone so you can find that missing person. We went on a body farm where we saw bodies in various decent areas of decay, okay? How the body bloats, about a beetle that is created, that, etc., etc. If I'm grossing you out, put down that spoon, stop eating your croissant or your eggs, because this is what happens in reality. In a forensic school in Texas, they have a body farm, and you walk through and see the various effects of the body in certain situations. This is because they need to study. At one point, I met a girl who was doing a body study of what happens when carrion is in and eating the body. How does it break down? Because these big birds come in and what happens, okay? My point is, there is no gore with me. A lot of blood, a lot of gore does not frighten me. It actually just makes me feel like you're cheating. Much like a comedian who does dirty jokes. I think it's a cheat, okay? My opinion. Yours is yours, right? Yours is your opinion. My opinion is that gore just doesn't cut it. I love my friend Greg Nicotero, who, as many of you know, does Walking Dead. He and I are very good friends. We go way back. This is his dream job, is directing and creating something like Walking Dead. But when it gets too gory, I have to shut it off, okay? I like it when it's suspenseful. Suspense means, for those of you who are too young and are only seeing gore, suspense means when inside your body you're yelling at the actor, don't do that! Okay, so the movie Get Out, I think, is one of the best ones to date that is suspenseful, because when she turns the teacup, you're like, close your eyes, close your ears, get out, get out. You're screaming at the TV or in the movie theater, you're saying, get out, get out. That is suspense. In the movie The Birds by Alfred Hitchcock, Tippy wakes up after they've been attacked by the birds and she hears a noise. And she turns and you're going, Tippy, don't go, don't go, don't go upstairs. Because you know what's going to happen. Don't go. That is suspense. That's what I like. So Halloween, the movie Halloween, which I love the movie Halloween because if it's supernatural and it's scary, The Fog, oh Lord, The Fog. Oh, that movie. I actually got to meet John Carpenter and told him, can we have another ghost story like The Fog, please? I love The Fog. You know, the music, boom, boom, you know. There's a scene in The Fog where Adrienne Barbeau is, her son has found, you know, we open with a very scary scene. If you haven't seen it, I'm just going to say it's a very scary scene involving ghosts. But there's a sequence where her son finds a gold coin. It turns into driftwood, and she has the driftwood in her arms as she goes to the most amazing radio broadcast station, a lighthouse. It's so cool. Want to live there. Awesome. So she's walking down and she's playing spots for her new, 30-second commercial. And she's looking out at the beautiful ocean. She's smoking a cigarette, which she didn't have to, but, it's all the character. And all of a sudden, the board gets wet. And the board says Dane, okay? So she looks at it, it says Dane, and it starts to get wet, and it starts to drip down where she has set her tapes, and it starts to affect the tape recorder. That's the big machine she's got that she's pushed, for those of you who only know of the iPhone era. And all of a sudden, your voice goes very deep. It's like an albatross across around my neck. I can't breathe. What has happened? Oh my gosh, I will get them. Or whatever the words are, right? Very scary. The board turns into 3 must die. So it says Dane first, then it says 3 must die. This is called, for those of you who like gore and don't like suspense, foreshadowing, which is amazing, okay? So now we're like, 3 must die, 3 must die. Okay, oh my God, 3 must die. You're working in your head because this is what people who really love suspense are all about. You're working it up and you're like, oh my God, oh my God. Sometimes when they don't letterbox or they do pan and scan, you only get to see, if you watch it on normal TV, must die. They've cut off the 3 because they've blown the image up and you don't see the full thing. So understand, don't mess with films, okay? But anyway, it's so exciting to see this movie, and it's got a couple of boos that I really don't like, those cat in the trash can kind of boos, but I get it. What I really love is that the ghosts are coming. There's a scene where a little boy is huddled in a room going, Mrs. Gobritz, and the music, and we know the ghosts are coming, and the kid is trapped in the room, and is the kid going to get out? Oh my God! Oh, I hope he gets out! You see what I mean? Suspense. Also, the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which was done in the 50s and is black and white, okay? That's the one you got to see. That is true suspense. Suspense is something that makes you well up and yell at the TV screen. Don't go. Please get him. Look out. Stuff like that. Yeah, those are my kind of Halloween films. I like that. I don't like booze. I don't like people going up and going, bah! That's just not my thing. I had a boyfriend. I was in a phone booth talking on the phone booth, and he blew up a paper bag and he popped it in my ear when I was in that small enclosure of a phone booth. Those of you who don't know what a phone booth is, Google it. But it used to have a phone inside. If you've watched Rosemary's Baby, actually William Castle, who was the master of the fun 1950s gimmicks, he's actually in there on the phone. So watch Rosemary's Baby, look for a guy on the phone. She's waiting, and that's a phone booth. But it's a tight area. There's very little room for you. You close the booth, and there's just you and the phone, basically. You can't really move much. It's the thing in the old days that Superman used to change into, from Clark Kent to Superman, by the way. And if you watch Superman 1 with Christopher Reeve, you notice he goes, wait a minute, what's that? When there is no booth. But anyway, I digress. In the phone booth, I was on the phone. He blew up a paper bag and he popped it next to my ear. And without even thinking, I and knocked him out. Okay, so you got to be careful when you do these boos. I'm sure you've seen America's Funniest Home Videos where a guy jumps out of a trash can and the guy clocks him. We don't mean to hurt you. You scared us. We don't know what it is. You're in our face. So I'm not real good with those. Not good with those jumping out things. I react as anyone would. But I love suspense. I love it. Have you seen the movie Alien? Very scary. Why? He's right there, Dallas. He should be right there. Beep, 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 beep. I don't see him. He's there, Dallas. Dallas, run. Dallas. That's what I love. Are you glad you asked now? I love this stuff. I love it. I love it. So Halloween 1 and 2, simply because it's a character that doesn't die, which I love. And that's a bit gory too. It's the most gory that I will really handle. But anything with Jamie Lee Curtis as the beautiful, pure ingenue, I love. I love Jamie Lee. And I was a super fan of hers way back when, during all the movies that she did. And she was in The Fog. Loved her there. She actually acted with her mother. Love that. But she's just a little rock star. And now, and then she did, what was it, True Lies? And she was absolutely so good. I think she's a great lady. So, yeah, so I'll follow her. And then Hitchcock, I love because he's a master of suspense. And that's what I like, suspense. So I really like it to build. I get afraid. I want the person to be safe. Please don't do that. Don't go around that corner. Don't trust that person. Don't turn your back. It's bad. That sort of thing. Okay. Yeah. Most frightening thing I've encountered in real life. A lot of times a frightening thing that happens in real life is not involving ghosts. And not it's maybe this is why gore is something that I don't like, because there are times when you might think your life is in danger, and it's well, I'll tell you one really scary thing. I drove in my car, Vader 1. My license plate said Vader 1 after Darth Vader. Big Star Wars fan. And I went to a Jethro Tull concert. I love Ian Anderson and Jethro Tull, especially when they do the music from Songs of Another Wood. I think it's Songs from Another Wood. My husband keeps correcting me. So whichever one it is, it's that one. Let me tell you songs of the wood to make you feel much better than you can know. Better than you can know. Anyway, I love it. I'm obsessed. Tull was my jam, as y'all say. But I drove home from the concert and I don't know how I got home. I think I fell asleep. And that's why I say I have an angel on my shoulder. His name is probably Bubba. And he drove the car home. That was the scariest thing. 1 minute I was at the concert, starting my car to go home. And the next I was getting off the on-ramp of the freeway. I know I was asleep. That was terrifying to me. I don't know how I got home. An angel on my shoulder took the wheel. God take the wheel. God didn't, but he had a good angel that did and got me home safe. I was about 19 years old. Terrifying. It was so friggin' scary. The other time I was in my Jeep and I ran out of gas and I had an open Jeep and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, girl alone in an open Jeep, here's vulnerable, And a guy, I was coming home from a dinosaur set and he drove by and found me. He happened to be driving at the same time and he helped me get my car to a station and put gas in it or whatever. There was something wrong with my tank in my Jeep and he helped me out, and thank God, So again, another angel intervention. Angel interventions are that. My first husband was a crack shot, meaning that he could hit a fly off a rock at 20 yards or some crazy thing. He was born and raised in Arkansas and South Carolina. And in South Carolina, his father said, here's jam on a rock. Here's a pistol. hit the flies. For every fly you hit, you get a quarter. For every fly you miss, you lose a quarter. He didn't get an allowance until 12, but after that, he never missed. So he was a sharpshooter. Okay, loved guns, loaded his own guns, everything. So we were on the old 99 freeway here in California, and my Jeep acted up again. See the thread? My Jeep acted up again, and we stalled. It was at the time when, I don't know if you remember those unfolding paper things that on one side it had a cute image, and on the other side it said, help, call police. Well, we put help, call police up, and a car pulled up behind us, and I, in myself, said, oh, thank God, we're getting help. And we couldn't see for the lights of the car pointing at us. So our Jeep is like this, and the car pulls up behind. Well, 4 guys got out. I realized suddenly they were not police. My heart starts beating like a rabbit. My husband reaches into the center compartment of my Jeep and pulls out a .357 Magnum and makes sure it reflects in the light. Now, first of all, I'm not a gun person. I had asked him not to bring a gun. He didn't listen. He put this giant silver monster, sort of Clint Eastwood-like, in the reflection, so it hit the light and glinted in the light, and all 4 guys jumped in the car and took off. So, most scary moments with me are, wow, did I just put my life in jeopardy? Was I stupid? You know, help, call police, you'd automatically think somebody will help call the police, and then there's people out there that say, yummy. You just don't know. I mean, Ted Bundy is one of the most scariest things I've ever thought of, because he preyed upon people who were being kind, and I'm one of these people. I realized I'm one of the people that if I saw a guy in a cast who said, can you help me push this into my car, and that's the way he got you so he could kill you, he's working on your kindnesses to kill you. That's the scariest thing in the world. That's the most terrifying monster by my book. People who prey on your kindnesses. I mean, we're so concerned now, we don't stop to help somebody by the side of the road because they could be punking us. It could be danger to us, so we have to be careful. Especially when we're alone. You know? So that's the stuff that really terrifies me. And I don't like feeling that way. I want to be in the day when my dad pulled up and he helped a guy change a tire, or he helped a guy fix their car. And now you got to be careful, because there could be other underlying factors in there. And I don't appreciate those people who actually acted on stuff like that, making us feel that way as a human being, because it sucks. So that to me is really tough. My favorite scary or suspenseful movie, you heard a few. Every Halloween, I've got to see 1950s horror. So I love Body Snatchers, the original Body Snatchers with Kevin McCarthy. That's about 1956, 57. And then my first was Crawling Eye, but it's kind of cheesy, but I still love it. It's just a cool movie. I love 1950s horror. I've told you about the Claw, Giant Claw, which is a movie you can show your children because it's just so ridiculous, but the people all play it straight. It's just wonderful. Google it. It's a wonderful movie. The Tingler with Vincent Price. Almost anything with Vincent Price, I'm a big fan, because he's so dignified looking that I love it. But basically anything with suspense, and I've told you some of the suspense movies that I love to watch, mainly because it's really scary. Aliens 2, for example, when the guy is like, how are they getting to us? And then he lifts up that crawl above them. He lifts it up and all the aliens are coming towards him. Jiminy Christmas. I mean, what could be better? Yeah, what? Scary, scary stuff. Yeah, I love it. I love that stuff. Yum, yum. What's your favorite seasonal cartoon? Grinch Stole Christmas. And I don't know if it qualifies as a cartoon, but Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is stop motion. But I love it. I love Mad Monster Party too. It's amazing. It's adorable. But seasonal cartoon is Halloween is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Never miss it. And Christmas, Grinch Stole Christmas. Never miss it. Along with my favorite Christmas movie, which is Miracle on 34th Street. Santa Claus Comes to Visit. And my favorite stop motion, which is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I love it, love it, love it. Do you have any memories of going through a haunted house? Yeah, one time, never again. Because many of the haunted houses are booze. I remember, though, years ago when I rode Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, they had a sequence where you were sitting up and something went across your face like a spider web. Oh, so glad they took that out. It was just too hard on me. I couldn't handle it because I'm arachnophobic. Oh my gosh, that was so creepy. But they stopped that now. Now you just get on the tracks towards a train and you know where you go. So yeah, so that's I went through the Winchester house. That was about the best haunted house I could tolerate. But the other ones where it's got those kind of scares and booze and stuff, again, it's a lot of blood and guts. And I'm in theater. It's, it doesn't really happen for me, right? Which is why with my Hitchhiking Ghosts, I wanted to do specters. I wanted to do illuminating ghosts. I wanted it to be an experience for you. Have you ever conquered a corn maze in the daylight without scary creatures? Okay. My best friend in Indiana, she had the best corn maze in the world, one of the scariest in the world, because she was in the entertainment industry, and she knew that what you hear and don't see is a lot scarier than what you see. It was one of the most coveted corn mazes, and it lasted for about 13 years, but she has since retired it. Her kids are grown. They're off to have adventures of their own, so she shut it down. But she took me through it without the scares, because I don't like it with the scares. It's suspenseful. Don't like being in the middle of it. But I would sit out and sculpt pumpkins, and anyone who was too afraid to go in, I'd sit to them and say, I'm an adult. I don't want to go in, so you're smart. Little kids would really appreciate that and talk with me all night if they didn't want to go in and their friends were making fun of them. Take a breath, Terry. But yeah, you don't want to go in. You say to yourself, it's just not my thing. I don't want to go in. And all your friends go, yeah, what? All this kind of stuff. I just said, well, I don't want to go in. And I look how much bigger than you I am. And I wouldn't go in there. My life depended on it, okay? So you sit out here by the bonfire and let's watch me sculpt a pumpkin, okay? You sit with me. Have a pizza. We'll watch everybody else pee their pants and run back out, because they will. So those are my haunted house experiences and my maze. She had one of the most scariest corn mazes ever at night. And it was brilliant. Trick-or-treating. What is your favorite childhood memory of trick-or-treating and your favorite costume? Well, right now, I have a killer Catwoman costume. That is the best of the best, if I do say so myself. I work a mean bullwhip. So when I wanted to put myself through college, I entered costume contests, which are now cosplay contests. And in 1 year, I won $8,000, and I was 20, early 20s. This is because Halloween fell on a Thursday, and the clubs had a contest on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I built a new cosplay type outfit each time, and I never won less than second place, and there was money involved. Well, as my Catwoman, I went downtown in Hollywood. I was dressed as Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, and I could work a mean bullwhip. They told me at the time to keep the bullwhip on the stage. It was dangerous. I could hurt someone. But you do not use a bullwhip or crack a bullwhip unless you know where that, what's called the popper, is at all times. So I knew this. I had trained with a professional bullwhip expert. A little rusty now. But back then I was really, really good. And so when I stood on the stage as Catwoman, I cracked the bullwhip over each one of their heads. Pow, pow, pow. And won $7,000. So that was amazing. They were shocked. This is what you do. You not only walk across in your outfit, but you create what? An experience. So I wasn't just a girl in a Catwoman costume. I was Catwoman. I had the blue contacts. I had the fingernails. I had the corset, the outfit. I was amazing looking and really deadly. While the people stood in line to go into the contest, I stood out amongst hundreds of cat women who had bought their off the shelf cat suit. And mine was custom made. I made it myself along with my friend. And I stood out and entertained them with the whip while we waited to go in because I could. So that is my favorite costume of all time. Why? Because I could sit down. Most of the costumes I create, I don't really care about my comfort, and sometimes that's a big mistake. So I love it. For my sister, I made her a telephone. Not one of these. I made my sister the cradle kind that used to be a murder weapon. I used ice cream buckets, and I painted it all up, and it had the little dial, and she walked from house to house as a telephone. That's what she wanted to be. So I built that. I was 11 when I built that. So, yeah. So Halloween is a great thing, and that's my memory. My memory of trick-or-treating, that was my favorite costumes. Favorite memory of trick-or-treating has to be not when I was a kid. When I was a kid, trick-or-treating was really fun because have you seen E.T. where the kids are all trick-or-treating all in the neighborhood? That's what I remember trick-or-treating being like, is that we were all together, we were with our friends, somebody's a ghost, somebody's a devil, whatever, right? And you're all with your bag and you're running around. I was with my sister, and it was really fun. It was really a night thing. But my best memory is here at my home, we project Nightmare Before Christmas on our picture window. Okay, that's part of our Halloween decorations. We'll be doing it again this time. What happened is it caused all my neighbors to come out of their houses and give people candy live so that they could watch this movie over and over and over again. Okay, my best memory is that a little girl came up to our door dressed as Zero. And if I can find the photo, I'll see if I can find it and share it with you guys. But little Zero had her little pumpkin bucket, and the Zero was like a baseball cap. And she stepped back after she got her treat from us, and she looked up at the movie, and it looks like Zero is watching Nightmare Before Christmas, and it is super cute. The best memory. I think of that all the time. It's just precious. She's got to be be about 2 foot tall. What is she? 3 or 4 years old. Her her dad dressed her up, helped her be Zero. And as Zero, it's like Zero watching the movie. It was so cute. Every time I try and tell myself we shouldn't put a movie, we should kind of, phone it in. I think of that little girl and how touched she was by it, and how much kids just really love to come, and they trick or treated in the neighborhood before the pandemic, and then they would bring lawn chairs and sit on my lawn, my strip of lawn that's part of your city thing. They wouldn't come inside the fence, but they would sit outside in their lawn and or across the street parked in a car and watch the movie over and over again. And their kids would eat their candy while they watched our movie. So we put the sound out the window and everything, and it's quite precious. My husband really loves to do this whole movie bit. He's always thinking, and how can I make it better, and that's a real special memory. Another one is that I sculpt a lot of pumpkins, and so people that I want to surprise with the pumpkin, like when I was teaching up at the pumpkin patch, which is no longer, I always got coffee in the morning, and so I took them a pumpkin I sculpted that had them saying good with the coffee, and they got to have it in there as a thank you to taking such good care of me when I needed my coffee in the morning on my way to teach a class. So those are all really good memories. Desperate Housewives, when Mark Cherry said it was one of the best things he'd ever seen, was my Desperate Housewives sculpted apple. So that's a nice memory too. I did one for the Ellen show, but I didn't get to meet her, and but they liked it, so it was cool. Yeah. Also, the faces of anyone who sculpts a pumpkin and sees that they can do it and just is so happy. Their whole body changes, and all of a sudden they realize you're creative. You've just been listening to the wrong teacher. You really do need to listen to me. You really need to be a part of me, because I believe all of you can do this. But you have to believe it too. Someone's got to care enough about you to tell you you can do it, and then show you how to do it. Okay? It's the same thing with Disney, trying to find out how do we open. You don't just tell them they've got to open, they want to know how. They want someone to lead them. They want to be compliant. How do I become compliant? Please show me. How do I take inside me? I want to be creative. How can I be creative? I want to paint. I want to draw. I want to cook. I want to dance. I want to be an accountant. You may laugh, but people who crunch numbers are geniuses. That's how they work. People who clean, this is how they work. If cleaning is your thing, I mean, there's a show now about cleaning the best. You know, that doesn't make a person lower than you because their job is a cleaning job. They're passionate about cleaning. They decided, let's make money about cleaning. They have some hacks. They are what? Artists at what they do. And I hire cleaning artists to work in my house when I can. Lately, I haven't had the opportunity, COVID-19. But honestly, I miss them because the way I clean and the way they clean, different as night and day, because I'm cleaning because I want to get to the sculpting table. They're cleaning because it's their palette. So treat everyone. You know who these people are. The person who picks fruit for you, who's doing it because it's their job, or they're doing it because it's their passion, is the difference between something slightly rotten ending up in the bag of your delivered groceries and the most amazing apple experience you have ever had in your life. This is my artist at Pavilions. The Michelangelo of choosing produce at my Pavilions. I don't even want to try to be like them. They are that good. You ask for a Honeycrisp apple, it's not only a Honeycrisp apple, it is the most exquisite Honeycrisp apple you can possibly imagine. Oh, you take that first bite and it's a snap. You chew it and then the sweetness trickles down your throat and you're like, oh my God. Oh, the experience. I hear birds. Oh my goodness, I hear song. I hear joy. I'm eating an apple. Okay? So everything that they do, you know, my CPA I call Jaws because his mission is when the IRS see his name on a tax return, they don't even bother. No, I don't want to deal with that guy. He's too scary. That's because numbers are his passion. And that's what we love about him. Okay? Let's do Have you ever asked a question to a Ouija board? Yes, love the Ouija board. Seen a psychic? No. And do you believe in mediums? I do. I absolutely do. But that's why I don't see them, because I don't want them to have to tell me the truth. Okay, did you ever see the 7 Faces of Dr. Lo? And one of the psychic is blind. We don't know that in the beginning, but it's revealed to us. And he says, you see, my curse is to tell the absolute truth. And what he tells this woman is devastating. Now, she's about as thick as a marshmallow brain-wise. Most of it, it's not poison unless she absorbs it, right? So she blows it off as soon as she comes out, and he goes, you know. But I take this stuff very seriously. So I really don't want to know my future. I want it to unfold like as a surprise. Okay, so Kung Fu Panda, you've heard me say I love Kung Fu Panda. One of my favorite is the turtle. The turtle is just amazing, and the wise turtle. And he says, this, you suck, you don't suck, you're good, you're not good, you worry too much. So yesterday is history, tomorrow a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So that's what I like. I like to live my life as a gift, the present. I want tomorrow to stay a mystery until it becomes the present and I get my gift. That's me. I also don't want to know how magic is done. With the exception of being an Imagineer, I wanted to know all the workings of the park, how they created the magic, because I wanted to be able to recreate that magic in some fun things like my ghosts. So, so in that case, but if you're a magician and you start to show me how, I'm going to hurt you. Yeah, I get really upset. I want to believe you are a magical person. Just let me believe. Mystics, I believe. There are some fakes, but there are also some people who do, but it's taxing on them. You know, one of my favorite films is oh gosh, it just went out of my head. I'll remember it in a minute. But the person is taxed every time he does he does a reading or whatever. It takes a part of his life force away. So I believe these people are out there, and but I can't tell the difference. So why put myself in that situation? So I don't. But the Ouija board is just fun because you got people's hands on it, and no matter how much you say they're not moving it, you say they're not moving it, you think they're moving it. So it kind of becomes this game, right? The only way you can be sure is to take your hands off and it moves on its own. And then you're like, whoa, okay? The question is, have any of you ever seen a poltergeist? Ever seen a ghost? I have. I haven't actually seen the ghost, but I've had the presence of a ghost in my house 2 times, actually. And if you want to learn about that, I'll tell you next week. Ask that question. It'll be the perfect one for Halloween. And finally, we're just gonna, you just ask, have you seen a ghost? Okay, so I will tell you the story, or something unexplainable. So I'm living with my first husband, the guy with the guns, and we had a hall in our house. So there was a small kitchen, then there was a hallway, and there was a doorway. So hall is like this, and the doorways were aligned like this, right? And in between, so I could look through the doorway of my kitchen to see my husband at the computer, okay? So I'm on this side cooking, talking to my husband, who's over here at the time, doing a computer. This is my first husband. And yeah, sometimes we had to take several times to get it right. But anyway, there's a hall. So I had this beautiful German Shepherd Lab mix named Jeffrey. Beautiful dog. And he kind of meandered through, you know. And all of a sudden, he stops. So right here, it's just like his front half. So if we turn it this way, and I'm looking through the doorway, he comes into the doorway via the hall. So me, Jeffrey, husband, right? And Jeffrey goes, he's not looking at me, and he's not looking at my husband. He's facing further down the hall. And then he starts to back up. And I'm wondering, looking at this doorway, what's over here? My dog is growling at something over here I can't see. So I move forward, and Jeffrey goes, "Row!" And I just sort of peek around. There is nothing there, guys. There is nothing there. There is nothing there. But Jeffrey will not let me step into that hall. My dog would not. So my husband steps up and starts, "Oh, oh, oh, oh." And then, I mean, like, you, whoever you are not moving. Okay? And then all of a sudden, he went from to, so we were then able to walk around the hall, so the specter was gone. I'll never forget it. He was full on, hair up on the back of his neck, everything. But whatever it was left and never returned because they saw Jeffrey was in the house. So that was number 1. Number 2 was when my husband moved into his house, my friend refinished the floors, and she saw the ghost. And the ghost was of an old elderly woman. And my friend spoke to her and said, "Are you worried about your house? 2 of the nicest people have finally moved into this house. They will love it as if it was yours. You can cross over now." True story. And she never returned. So I believe in ghosts, absolutely. I really like Sixth Sense, the movie, because he's afraid at first because they are very scary ghosts and they're very real. But once he's told to ask what they want, he realizes there's something left undone and he's able to actually help people. And it's very touching. It's one of the most beautiful M. Night Shyamalan movies. M. Night Shyamalan, oh, it's so good. And it's such a great movie. And if you haven't seen it, you want to see it. The Sixth Sense with one of the most amazing actors, several actors. Bruce Willis is in it, and you just, oh, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Okay, all right. Update on the Hitchhiking Ghost Trio. The prototypes came today. No, you cannot see them. You will see them Monday. My tribe got to see them today. You get to see them Monday because I'm going to have a price for you. I'm going to show you them all three, and I'm going to do it in optimum conditions. I want to show you the three things that were the criteria in making these ghosts a reality. Number one, what they look like without illuminating. When you get them in your box, they need to be wow factor. Then when the light is on and they are illuminating with your natural light, that was number two. And number three is when you turn the lights out. I want a specter right there on yourself. They do separate. They are not together, but if you have your heart on putting them together, they do come together. Their bases allow them to sit together. They are the hardest thing I have done since the Dragon's Lair. They are an amazingly elaborate, difficult, intricate piece of art times 3. So I will explain that more on Monday when you join me live right here on Facebook Live. We will do that. We will talk about prices and we will talk about how you can pre-order, and we will talk about some of the things I'm working out. But I want you to see them under optimum conditions, because today when I showed them on my Terry's Tribe, I just got them at 7 and I threw them up and tried to create the environments that I wanted so you could see them at each one of these levels. And I was okay. Everybody was beautiful. Everybody was wonderful. But we're waiting until. So another reason to be part of a tribe at only $5 a month. It's a great deal. But of course, that's up to you. So there you go. We are now going to do what we always do. We have been on for almost 2 hours, and I'm going to finish up with looking at your comments, okay? So if you've joined us and you have a life, it's Friday, you're going to go to a pumpkin patch, or you're going to go on a wagon ride, or you're going to go to the food event at Knott's Berry Farm, which I hear is off the chain. There's a park that thought out of the box. I hear it's magnificent. We're probably going to visit a place called the Battery. We're going to visit a place called Bulbs Unlimited, because I have a dark bulb over that seems to not be made anymore, and we're hunting it down. So that's our big Saturday thing. And then also to create the environment for the ghosts so that Monday you guys can really see them at their best. So I can dazzle you with what you will dazzle. Save your pennies, guys. You're going to want these. Limited to 100. That's it. 100 sets. And they are going fast. If you have the slightest inkling you want one, please contact me. You can write to me on Messenger. You can comment here and ask to be put on the list, and I will show you the available numbers, and you can tell me what number you want. Most of the numbers that you can think of, 13, 69, 99, all gone. I think my lowest number is 30. But I have a lot in the 70s because I opened it up. I was originally going to do just 50 ghosts, and so many people wanted them that I'm going to do 100. So 100 sets. They only go by the set, but I will explain to you some of the ways that I'm going to work out that you could afford them. They will be pricey, but they are worth every penny. Okay? All right, excellent. So guys, have a lovely weekend. For those of you who want to stay, I'm now going to post right up front your comments because I enjoy that and I know you do too. So, but if you're leaving us, I love you. See you Monday at 9:20 and you'll get to see the hitchhiking ghosts. Okay? All right. Thanks for joining me. And it's Terri Hardin, and I'll see you soon. Now, let's go to our comments. So we see who's in the house. We have Liz Reed saying hello. Leslie Smith, hello. Look at her. She's got, what do you got, a giant popcorn? Girl. She says, in Paris. Yes, Liz Reed is one of the reasons Gavin Newsom is so, she was told not to go, and she still goes. Okay, so I'm just saying. It's in her blood. Hello. Thank you, Bob Burdine. Hello, Ava, Randy, Bob. The ghosts are truly amazing. Bob is part of the tribe. Hello, Leo. Thank you again. Shout out to Leo for all the questions. Leo, today, the subject matter, far as the pertinent, what do we call it? Let me look at what you called it. The topical questions were huge today, but we had so much happening, didn't we? I mean, the world is really moving in the Disney realm, so we had a lot to talk about today. So we will get to the fun questions next time, guys, but y'all have a life, so. Oh, thank you, Randy. See, these people are trying to make you jealous, and are they doing it? Because you should be. Hey, John, what's up? Come and join me Monday. You'll get to see the ghosts. Yep, they're ready. Yeah, Liz is so cute. She's in Paris and she's losing signal trying to watch. How many of you believe her? She's just getting ready to go on like Space Mountain or something. Yes, Michael, you are correct. Disney had tons of layoffs, most of them in the tourism area. And a lot got fired. But here's the thing. If Disney can start up again, they could get their jobs back. How soon? I'm not going to predict. I don't know. But that's why one of the reasons Disney's working so hard, they want to get back on track again, because trust me, they did not enjoy this. However, it would have been nice maybe if you're making $93 million, maybe you toss a couple of millions over there. I know that Iger took a pay cut, but, you know. Good morning to Melissa. Having trouble finding Terri Hardin Jackson on YouTube. Here's the link to all wonderful videos. Stephen, you are so nice. That is because it's Terri Hardin Speaks. But you can just Google Terri Hardin and you'll find me. My husband says sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Is that my fault? True, full disclosure, I don't know. I don't know if it's my fault. It could be. Look at that. Steve does it, though. There you go. You click on that link and you can find me on YouTube. And watch. Reclining in your bed with your coffee, if I'm a bit early for your rising, and you can watch me on the YouTube while, relaxing. And make me jealous. It does take political courage to stand firm on science. It really does. It really does. It's not easy. I don't want to do it, okay? I don't want to be a politician. It's a thankless job. It's a thankless job if they love you. It's a thankless job if they don't love you. You can't please everybody. Someone's always going to complain about what you're doing. I'm amazed at people who decide they want to get into politics. Can I just drive to office? Running is so much cardio. Yes, it is, right? Yes, exactly. Of course you can. I ran into a friend in Oxnard. He came running towards me to hug me, and I had to stop him. It was so weird, and it left us both feeling empty. This is what I'm talking about. It's not that there are some people who are just defiant. Like I said, we're all different types in the world. But most of you, like me, we just forget. My team came today. I'm already in my studio prepping for this, right? And my team came to show me the prototype ghosts. I have to keep masks here because when I come through my own backyard into my studio, I don't wear a mask. So I have them in here because there he is at my door. I can't go back up. I got to run and get a mask. I just have one. And it's made by my friend Kimberly Dominguez, and it's beautiful. But I have them here. And this is what you got to do. You got to have them in places in case you all of a sudden find, there's a guy who works on my hot tub. And if he's out there, I got to make sure I'm in a mask. You know, I got to protect him too. So it's things that aren't natural, as Melissa points out. It's just not natural. Here's Michael Joseph Luzzy. I had the beautiful chance to work with him yesterday. We were 6 feet apart, masked. This is the fellow that I almost hugged, but he had the brains to step back and remind me, no, 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 no. But we worked, and then we went and we had food. And when we had food, he sat in the office with a wall between us and a doorway, and we were able to eat and kind of shout to each other. We were working on my cachet numbering system, and I'll tell you about those at a later date. But many of you know about them. If you want, you can go to my store, and which is I'll post it at the end, and you can see what that's all about. But thank you goodness. He says, just wanted to say hello, can't stay. Workmen are putting a new $36,500 roof on his 80-year-old house that his grandparents built. He's lived in all his life. I had to ask him, has anybody put a roof on their home? First of all, do you own your own home? Second of all, have you ever put a roof on it? And you're going to look at this number and go, oh my God, what are you doing, gold? But he has one of those Spanish type. Because I said to him, what costs $36,000 in a roof? Okay, we put ours on a long time ago, and it was about $6. Granted, it was a long time ago, but jumping from that over, you know what I mean? He calmly just turned to me and said it was the Spanish tile. So there you go. That's why. Because you've got to make sure that the house can hold such a roof, because tile is heavy, and then you put those tiles on. Very beautiful. But yeah, that's an expense right there, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah. Randy, you're right. You know, you're absolutely right. And the White House is, you know, people look to the president and the White House people to show us what to do. If they can't do it, where many ask, it must not be that bad. If my leader isn't doing it, why am I, you know? We do that on smaller venues. You know, if my leader says I don't need to watch out for the riptide, then I'll go out in the riptide, even though I'm a fraction of the swimmer they are, for example. Maybe I have more health issues than the White House does. But the fact is, I'm looking to them for guidance, and then they fell short. And then they become, see, the thing about China as a country is they are a communist country, okay? They don't necessarily disclose. They don't have to. They don't disclose exactly all of their facts. They don't want to. They don't. Okay? This is their choice, right? But we don't want our White House to be China. Okay? We don't want them to not tell us the truth about what's going on in the White House and what's happening with people. You may want to not disclose everything, but then if it's really about the pandemic, you know, again, it all boils down to I don't want to be a politician at all. If the White House was California right now, it would be a purple house. It would be a purple house isolated on a mountain with plexiglass barriers, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, thank you, Leslie. You're so sweet to say that. Come and see my ghosts on Monday. Really? So why hasn't it affected WW? They're coming from other states. WDW, they're coming from other states, but they're following the rules for the most part. They're keeping distance because it's easy. Gail, this is a good question. In Walt Disney World, they are a bigger park by leaps and bounds. They are huge. It is easy to walk either direction and stay 6 feet apart in various areas of the Magic Kingdom and other places. Animal Kingdom's a little tight, but they still could work it. Maybe they do a in this way and an out in another direction. But my point is this: in Disneyland, we don't have such luck. Yeah, we are tight here. We are really tight here. So WDW is a good start, but they still needed the CDC and health officials to finish, and that's what they were reaching out for. Okay? People from other states did come in, and they are tested as best they can do, but they social distanced. As long as you social distance and you wear your face coverings and you follow the rules, WWW can stay open. And apparently they've been doing quite well because they haven't closed yet. We haven't heard of outbreaks, so they are obviously. And why is this the case? Okay? Because you're Disney people. You want the park to stay open. If it takes if it took you hopping on one foot and quacking like a duck to get in that park, y'all would do it. You know it. And you do stay hopping. Quack, 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 quack. How long do I got to do this to get in the park? Do it for another 1 minute. Quack, 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 quack. You're going to do what's asked of you so you can get in. You're not going to force Disney to your rules because you know how important it is for you to get into Disneyland. You're not going to cheat. If you cheat, everybody loses. And I haven't met a better group of people that thinks about each other more than Disney people. I mean, do you remember, if you live in California, do you remember when you're in Disneyland and you're all wanting to get on Galaxy's Edge? You all want to ride Galaxy's Edge. And you're up there and you want to get all you want is when 9 o'clock hits to get that boarding pass. Okay? You'd think that people would go, get away from me. They all clutter together and show you how to work the app. Because they love the camaraderie. Up there next to the train is a really good place to get a signal. That's where you need to be. And then once they get their number, let me show you how to get a number. They'll even take your phone and do it for you. This is the way you guys are. You help each other. You're not going to do this baloney. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to social distance in the park. I don't have to. You're not going to be that woman in Costco sitting on her butt crying like a little child. I just don't see this with you guys. I don't see it. Gail, I don't see it. Honestly, I don't. So this is why it works. Because you guys follow the rules. Johnny Johnson, what do you have to say? He may be gone because he works at, Disney World. Disney does much more than amuse you. Exactly. It's kind of a low blow to call it an amusement park, I think. I think you are trying to, I think it's kind of an insult because it's not. It's not an amusement park. I'm sorry. I know that's not what you mean. But, and Gail feels he has no heart. I disagree. But Gail, you are welcome to run. If you think you can do it better, I want you to run. And I'm saying this with my heart, not to make you feel bad. But if you think you can do it different, I want you to vote, and I would love, and I will vote for you, honestly. It's not an easy job. That's all I'm saying. I just went up to see the sunset. So beautiful. How panoramagique. Okay, that's awesome. Liz is trying to make you jealous because she's in Paris where she didn't follow the rules. London told her, she's from London. She's from Great Britain. They told her not to go outside of Great Britain. It was best if you didn't go long distances. Well, you have to take a train to get to Disneyland Paris from Great Britain. You must take a train or drive. You cannot walk, okay? You could actually fly too, but, she takes the train. But she was told not to. When she comes back, she's got to quarantine for 14 days, okay? But that's not enough to keep her from going to Disneyland Paris. Why? It's in her blood. This is her reasoning, okay? So you got someone like her going there. That's what you got to be aware of. You got to be ready for it. Okay? Just be ready for it. Pauline loves the fly. That's what I'm talking about. Sense of humor with all of them. They got fly swatters now, and they got all kinds of memes out there. I guess when you're a politician, you just got to roll with it. But I was like, really? Keeps me sane, Liz. Yeah, you're right. Kamala was awesome, Pauline. I'm with you. I'm sorry, but girl power. I thought she was a rock star. I wish she was running for president, honestly. You are right. Disneyland is a shrine and a testament to imagination, says Bob. Creation, ingenuity, and of course, Walt Disney. It's truly an experience. But I can and will wait until we feel it's safe. Absolutely. Okay. It's going to be safe. Okay. I believe it will be safe. Disneyland's not going to open if it's not going to be safe, is my heart of hearts. All right. I know. Yeah, there she goes. Melissa, I hate not being able to hug and kiss my friends. Yeah, that's a tough one. And we do forget, as I have illustrated, full disclosure, from me. I almost messed up yesterday. Michael Luzzy will tell you. You're like Julia Morgan, the chief architect of Hearst Castle. I get okay. She feels the same, does she? I don't know. Yeah. Women have to prove themselves 100 times over before they're ever started to be taken seriously. It's kind of how you prove yourself. Okay. So I always say that if it doesn't work, you're hitting your head against a wall. Let's say you're a beetle. Buzz, 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 buzz. You're hitting the wall. You're hitting the wall. You're hitting the wall. You're hitting the wall. Sometimes it takes a few moments of pause. So back up from that wall you're hitting and a small adjustment, and you can get past. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I tell people. If you're banging your head against the wall, step back, take a breath, and try an alternate approach. I've told the story of Hate Not Appreciate, where I was in the middle of Maypo. All the men did not like me there. They made it very clear they didn't want a woman there. They made it very clear. They didn't necessarily say, get out! But they were grumbling, growling. Oh, the air, I could have cut it with a knife, right? And this is Imagineering, where usually people are pretty good working together. But I started sculpting cartoon caricatures of these people that I saw, because many of them had these amazing mustaches and beautiful features. If you find me staring, it's because the human face is something I'm just fascinated with. I think everybody has a beautiful face, and I just can't get over how stunningly different everybody is, and I just love it. But I started to sculpt these little heads, and I started setting them out. What Disney's solution was to protect me was to put me behind a big black curtain, so I didn't have to look and feel them every day, but I still had to get to my curtain booth and from my curtain booth. So what I did was I started to sculpt these and put these out on a shelf. So it was kind of like, have you ever seen Cousin It from Addams Family? Well, it was kind of like that, only you turn it on its side, and I'd set it down and come back in, right? So, yeah, so I set them on the shelf, and the grumbling men would walk by, and they'd go, hey, what's that? And I'm inside working on my Splash Mountain ride vehicle that you can see when you ride Splash at Walt Disney World. That's mine with the rabbit on the front, etc., etc. That's my boat. I didn't design the boat. I designed the textures on the boat. Okay, let's be clear. But, politician coming out of me again. But anyway, so they walked past my curtains, and they're on the outside, and they said, what's that? Was what? What's that? Isn't that you? And the guy says, is that me? And he says, whoa. The other one said, whoa. So then the curtains open. First time in 2 weeks, the curtains open, and they actually talk to me. How many times have you been judged and no one has ever talked to you? That girl is a jerk. But have they ever talked to you? I don't even get that. She's so mean. She's so, that, I don't like that girl. And have they ever come up and introduced themselves? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. So, but that was what they said. Ooh, woman, yuck. But then all of a sudden the curtains open after 2 weeks of isolation. And 2 weeks of walking through what was thick as a knife dislike for me, because I was female, at Imagineering. But all of a sudden they said, are these us? And I said, yeah. Do you like them? And they were like, yeah. Can we have them? And I was, yeah. Really? Yeah. And so they took them and they put them in their areas. Then the next thing I know, the curtains open up more and more as more and more of these men asked to have me do a cartoon character of them. Is that passive? Or is that making lemons out of lemonade? Making lemonade out of lemons? Making a thing stronger and better because I observed, what can I do? I'm a sculptor. I love to sculpt. So I just started doing it. It could have gone the other way. They might not have liked my caricatures, but I made them whimsical and fun because I'm a whimsical and fun sculptor. I'm a few up my sleeve, though, that are pretty scary. But anyway, yeah, so the next thing you know, I'm friends with everybody at Mapo. I've sculpted just about everybody's image in a little cartoon face, the little quick and dirty cartoon face of them. And so the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. They took my curtain down, they took my frame down, and I was in the middle of and all of that magma that was working against me as an artist. What was my goal? To feel better about working in the Mapo area. How can I do that? They've got to know I'm a good egg. I'm not here to make their lives. I got to do the work. I had messy work. Messy work was in Mapo. I couldn't do it in my sculpture studio. I couldn't do it in the main building. It was too big. It was too massive. It was a whole boat. And no one could move around in my sculpture studio if I did the boat in my sculpture studio, so they moved me over to Mapo to do the textures. So that's it. That's it. Women do. But you got to choose your battles. On any level, men, women, you got to choose them. Sometimes hitting head on is not the way you want to do it. I'm just saying. Yes, exactly. Competence and competence. Yes, indeed, Rachel. Radvinsky! Oh my goodness. This is the girl who got me to run walk. This is my girl here. Rachel, I miss you. We need to chat. It took me 10 years to get a transportation supervisor job in a company. It was so hard to be taken seriously by the other truck drivers, especially when I became their boss. I had a trial getting into the job and another once you got the job. And Melissa, how is it now? You know, you bring up an excellent point, because what show was I doing? I was doing a television show. Outrageous Pumpkins. Okay, so I've been a judge on Outrageous Pumpkins more than once. Okay, so I meet this woman on the first Outrageous Pumpkins that I've done, and that woman could back an 18-wheeler trailer truck. That woman could put it in a space this big in about 2 minutes. I have never seen a driver so amazing in my life with trucks. And she wasn't, you know, I think people imagine that if you're a truck driver, you're kind of built stocky. But she wasn't. She was slender, she was tall, and she was badass, man. She was so good. And I looked at her and I said, how long did that take? And she says, when you do this kind of work with truck drivers, you can't just be average, you got to be the best. She took it on. Who wins in a situation like that? When you're tested like that, you do. She did. They asked for her all the time when they had the hard, difficult vehicles that they wanted to park, line up super tight. She was like, sha, 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 sha. Ninja quality in truck driving. So, Melissa, I know what you're saying. So how is it now? I mean, what was it? What did you do? Joe is doing town hall instead of the debate. Yes, good. Yes, it's good, Pauline. You might as well do what, I mean, why didn't we discuss this with Bob Iger and quitting? When you quit, how do you help anyone when you walk away? So Trump saying, I'm not going to do it. How does this help Trump campaign? I'm asking. I'm not judging. I'm saying, how does the Trump campaign benefit from him stepping away? I don't think this is a good idea. So Joe is saying, all right, you don't want to debate? Let me tell you what I'm about. And what does Terri want? To know what the candidates are about. So win-win for us. The way it's worded is loopholes. Exactly. And I'm terrified of them. I don't want to fall in one, Janet. I voted in Anaheim for an election because I wasn't home. I forgot to mail it, and they let me. Yes, sometimes they will. It's different when you're in China. Just saying. So I always vote absentee. I wasn't in China, but I was in when I had to vote and I didn't mail in my ballot. I was in Italy. I was in Italy. Bit far. So, yeah. King's Speech was a wonderful movie. This is exactly right, Pauline. And I'm just saying, I don't know that it actually goes away. I don't stutter. But I have seen people who do. And, there's a comedian on America's Got Talent. It was actually brilliant, and he stuttered. Oh, he was so cute. A young man who just took this anomaly, this challenge he had, and he made it work. Again, taking something and not reading the book that says it's a handicap, saying, no, it just makes me different, makes me special. Let me show you how. Okay? So I love when people do that, and I celebrate that. So as far as the presidential debate, we need content, not confusion. Exactly, Bob. Please, we need content, not confusion. Hello! Bella is busy with homework, but sends her love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We send our love to her, too. Are you going to try and figure out a pumpkin class? Hit me up, guys. I'd love to teach you. I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd love it. I know. It's very hard when the bandwidth is needed. I do these spotlights, and I got jettisoned off a Zoom call that we did on the last spotlight because my husband uploaded video for his company, and all bandwidth was sucked out, and I was jettisoned into my real world. So I had to try and get back on my Zoom call. It's kind of sad when the host gets jettisoned, but it is what it is. Oh, so Deanna's waiting for the nurse to call me back. It's going to be great. You're going to be fine. I'm really thinking about you right now. Evening from us. Hope you're well. Yes, I am. It's crazy. Going to show the ghosts on Monday. So if you want to see what they look like, tune in Monday, okay? We're going to show them. We're going to talk about them. I'm feeling good. I did have a conversation with Michael Luzzy about that you're sequestered at home and you start to feel a little stir crazy. And I really need to go see the ocean, and I want to just sit in front of the ocean for about 3 days and not do anything. So I'm hoping my husband will allow us to keep that vacation. If I do, I'll let you know, because one of those days, I think, may not be. I may have threaded the needle. But if I'm going to, I will maybe not broadcast from my point. Maybe I will. It will depend on how I'm feeling. And yes, she's doing her homework and watch later. Jenna, good to do. You're feeling better too. And I know that was for you that I just answered that question, but I piped in too. Peeps mistake my kindness for weakness all the time. Exactly. I mean, come on. It doesn't take much. Happens to me as well. My kindness is not weakness. No, it's not. But if you see somebody who's evil and you hear how he was evil, and you get this sort of ghostly fingers over your body, it's because if you had seen that situation, you identify very strongly with the victim. Because there you would be helping him out. Of course you would. And now to feel that was their downfall is devastating to all of us. I love Rudolph Soto, Janice. And I met Burl Ives. I think I told you that, right? And just burst into tears. I got to tell you, you meet somebody, and it's just amazing. What does booze mean? Here it's alcohol. Same thing. That's it. Booze is kind of a derogatory term. Booze it up, boozed up. A lot of times in Westerns, you'll hear them say, there's a movie. Remember I told you I like 1950s. Pardon me, I have a small itch. 1950s horror films. One of them is called Them, about giant ants. Have you seen this? Well, there's a guy who says, make me a sergeant, charge the booze. I'll enlist if because he's a drunk. So he says, make me a sergeant, charge the booze. Make me a sergeant, give me the booze. Make me a sergeant. And then a very, very well-known actor who usually plays kind of monsters and scary people. He has a face like Easter Island. It is amazing face. He says, please, my nerves. And it's wonderful. So if you want to see Them, it is scary. It has suspense. But so if you got kids, screen it first. I'm not kidding. But it's a great movie. Booze, as in scared booze, not booze as in... Janice, that's so cute. That's so cute. Booze as in cat in a trash can. Okay, have you ever seen a movie and then all of a sudden it's ah, you know, that doesn't fly with me. In Halloween, they have a couple of them, but I forgive them for that. They do. But thank you. And then I did my explanation. Thank you for allowing me to do my explanation as well. Never thought of cleaning as an art. No, many people don't. Many people don't, Melissa. But it is. I'm telling you, art is what you're passionate about. You can be think about it. I want you to really think about this. Two types of people. The person who it's their job and their person who it's they're passionate about helping you. They're passionate about doing you a service. Okay? So you go to the DMV when you could, and the person is a sloth. Okay? Like in Zootopia. Or you find the one person at the DMV who cares about you and walks you through it. Okay? Seriously. The person at the counter who doesn't care about what your day's like, or the person at the counter who says, I know where that is. Let's get that for you. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. The person who delivers my produce doesn't just pick apples. She wants 6 apples. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, glad that's done. That person is looking at every apple and making sure it's going to be my favorite taste experience. Artist. The person who runs the polisher at night, those big machines, if you don't know how to do that right, you're going to China. This is a person who takes great pride, making sure everything is just right. Everything is awesome. Artists. I'm telling you. The tax man who does your taxes because he's bored, or the tax man who does it because he wants to be known as Jaws with the IRS. Artist. Don't think just because you can't draw or paint, you are not an artist. I want you to burn that book right now. Not in California. But get rid of that book. Do not pick that book up off the shelf, and do not read it. Do not take the poison. Okay? If you are passionate about what you do, and it can be something simple, like Michael Luzzy. He said he wants to grow tomatoes. When he talked to me about how he grows tomatoes, let me tell you, the man is an artist. Different varieties, journals about how much water each plant gets. When you grow tomatoes, do you do this? If you do, you're an artist. Why? You're passionate about tomatoes. Just saying. Don't let people tell you you're not an artist simply because you don't know how to move a paintbrush. Your palette may be something different. Your palette might be a scrub brush, a sponge, a sander, a polisher, a tomato. Just saying. I wear a mask and stay away from clients when I clean. It's weird because we're always chatting. No, we aren't in the same room at the same time. Yes, I know what you mean. I know. This is tough. Most of the ladies that come and work on my house are Latina, and they speak Spanish among themselves. And I know un poquito, just enough to make me dangerous. But I let them chatter and do their thing, and I stay nearby. But I want the artists to do what they do. And oh my gosh, I am so happy after they have gone, and my house is like cleaner than when I bought it. I'm telling you, it's a phenomenon. My favorite art. Then I'm OCD on cleaning. Yay, I'm an artist. Exactly. Are you surprised? How about this as being an artist? A mom or a dad who actually doesn't hand their kid a phone Out of sight, out of mind. Go over there, seen and not heard. That's the person who had a kid because someone somewhere told him it was a good idea to have a kid. But you revel in the raising of your children. You celebrate the joy of their angers, their defeats. You lift them up to make them feel you're creating a beautiful human being because you're there to inspire them. You're doing things together. You're making magic with your kids. You're creating future leaders. And a mother who stays at home is not an artist? Are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. If that's what you think, you need to get that book out of there, because just because someone goes and does a job, they choose to stay home and raise a family, and that's an artist, okay? Farmers are amazing. How hard is it to make stuff grow in mass? I've watched them do it. I still don't get it. It's not my wheelhouse. But they are maestros at what they do, aren't they? Maestros. Okay? So what I'm saying is, you as an artist, your paintbrush could be a scrub brush, could be a garden hoe, could be a journal, could be what? Numbers book. You don't think that a bookkeeper is an artist? You get a good one, they're going to keep your foot out of jail, aren't they? Isn't that an artist? You don't want someone who's going to be laissez-faire about your business, helping you make that business. You want someone who cares about you and your business. That's an artist. Someone who loves those numbers so much that they take extra time to make it fit you. That's my bookkeeper, okay? My bookkeeper has to deal with an artist who does not do numbers well. Up until now, they've been a challenge. I don't want to keep my brain. I can't do numbers. I can. But it's a little more of a challenge for me, all right? But I have someone who works with me. She takes who I am. She takes the time to learn about who I am as a human being, and she tailors her training so that I am a better businesswoman to me. That is an artist. That is a Michelangelo. That is what I look for. I want the artists cleaning my house. I want the artists keeping my books. I want the artists building and working on my house. I want the artists gardening my home. I want the artists. You get it, right? You get it. You get it. So don't be telling me you aren't an artist. I raised my family cleaning and maintaining buses. They would ask me to do deep cleaning on the movie buses. There you go. I wonder why that is. Don't tell us, Bob. It's a little scary. Dead Zone. Yeah, Dead Zone. I love Dead Zone. Christopher Walken was a lust object for me when I was younger. In fact, when I got to work with him on Country Bears, I told him he used to be a lust object. And he said, well, what's changed? And I said, I'm engaged to the love of my life now. And he said, oh. But it was great to work opposite him. A dream come true. Shoulder to shoulder walking with him after he told me the scene between Tennessee Bear and Trixie Bear was one of the most heart-touching ones he had seen. And to hear this from Christopher Walken, who is still one of my favorite actors of all time, Dead Zone is brilliant. And, you know, I told my husband that my head goes into a dead zone because I'm thinking so much about the questions, about, you know, I hope my light looks good because my husband's going to talk to me later, you know, stuff like that. COVID is always on my back like the tingler. Melissa says she has a ghost too. Your dogs are always watching it. I get a glimpse of it now and then. Are you afraid? It doesn't sound like you're afraid, Melissa. That's what I'm saying. It's usually something that isn't done, that isn't finished. And in my house, which is here, it was because the house was owned by people who treated the house without respect. And I think the little old woman who probably owned it in 1941 just couldn't leave until she saw her house was in good hands. So, we've never seen her since. So she's in heaven with her wings now, I'm sure. I was at a presentation with John, a paranormal researcher. He said he prefers dog, cat, bird as a partner over a human when looking for ghosts. That's interesting. Well, because they see them. They're on that plane. Animals see them. When I saw Jeffrey see that ghost, that was the most surprising thing to me when I first saw it. But dogs are spiritual beings. I actually think, you may or may not agree with me, but I actually think that they are angels who have come down to earth, animals. are angels that have come down to earth because they like it in heaven, but they feel so much that they want to serve as human beings that they've come down as a dog, a cat, a bird, or whatever. They really want to be of service. They have this overall giving spirit, and being an angel up in heaven, they can do some things really, really great, but they really want to get in it. This is my theory, okay? This is my thought. Because dogs will put up with you no matter how horrible you are to them. They just keep loving you, and it's so sad that anyone could be mean to an animal. But they keep coming back, don't they? Well, with the exception of a cat. I'll tell you, a cat is going to give you what for if you're mean to them. But dogs, they love you, and cattle is going to put you in your place. They're still going to love you. But they're going to say, hey, you crossed the line there, buddy. Don't do it again. Deanna, thank you. I am, my heart is with you. Our prayers are with you. It, as you said, is a outpatient procedure. You're going to be just fine, and we love you. We're sending our hearts and flowers to you, my love. Yes, Melissa, isn't it the best movie ever? Next week, ask me. I met, see, I always do this when I'm on camera. My husband just starts laughing. How is it that you keep, Whitmore, James Whitmore, who plays the cop, and then you've got, James Arness, and then you've got Quinn. So I can't do it now, but ask me anything next week. Tell me, you tell them, because I met James, and it's a great story. It's a great story. It's awesome. You want the artist to pick your apples. Well, I want the person who picks apples. Yeah, I'm not. I thought I was pretty good at it. Okay, I'm not. And also, I ordered these groceries from Pavilions, and they came yesterday. And usually what will happen is if I ask for avocados, they're too hard, so I have to ripen them before I can put them in the refrigerator because I like them ice cold, avocados. But yesterday, the person who picked them, the artist, picked me right perfect. So they're in the fridge. We're going to eat them after. Okay? I can eat them right away. Okay? I don't have to go through a process in order to eat them. All right? Now, I don't mind if you're doing a peach or a nectarine and I got to ripen it because I usually order about a dozen. So what this artist does, instead of giving me 6 green ones that I have to ripen, she gives me 2 edible ones and 4 that need ripening. So they ripen. I'm telling you, this person is an artist. I don't know, woman or man. All I know is that they're flipping brilliant. Okay? And that is it for the day, guys. Congratulations. We've done it again. We are at 2 hours and 37 minutes. It is because of COVID-19. Usually I'll do a 1-hour AMA and be pretty strict about it. But with COVID-19, we need to have this for ourselves, don't we? I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. I really appreciate you guys working with me and staying. And I love when you come back and you have opinions and you allow me to address them. I got to thank you for that because I am so grateful that you don't just take, if you have a disagreement, like Gail Stewart today, she has her opinion, but thank you, Gail, for being strong enough to state it. All right? Thank you for doing that. I don't expect you to just agree with everything I say, and I want to commend you for speaking your mind. And I'm not surprised that you're a woman. But the point is that when you have a different opinion, as long as you're polite and you don't attack a person personally, we want that. I mean, have you seen these things on the news as I close? I will close with this. Have you seen these things on the news where Trump supporters and Joe Biden supporters are agreeing to disagree and still loving each other instead of ruining friendships over it? They each have their little sign. They each have what they like to wear and everything, but they still love each other because they love the person as a human being. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. Love your friend. Don't hate. Don't dislike your friend. Don't lose a 30-year friendship because of who they're voting for. Please don't let that happen. It's not cool. And that person, you were a friend with that person for so many years because something about them was genuine and wonderful. Okay? And that goes either way. All right. Don't dislike the person because of what they have the right to choose. That's why we're in America. That's why we're Americans. That's why it's the greatest country in the world, right? So I love you. Here's the heart. Do something nice for someone. And look it, Bob Burdine has the last word. Have a great weekend. Have a good wedding, Bob. Bob's not getting married. His daughter is. To the love of her life. Hopefully they'll stream it because we can't go there live. We want to protect them. The worst wedding gift you can give someone is COVID, wouldn't it be? So we're all cheering them on, and we said if you're going to stream it or you record it and you show it later, and we have a watch party via Zoom or something, we're in, okay? But we send you our well wishes, and Deanna, we send you our wishes as well. Monday, the ghosts. If you want to take a pumpkin class, go to my store and check it out right here. They're $20. They're virtual. I'm going to do them for 3 days. The 29th, 30th, 31st. They're in the morning. But if you're someone who would rather do an evening, touch base with me and maybe we can work something out, okay? And I hope to see you soon. But Monday will be the ghosts. I love you all. Talk to you soon. Hearts and flowers and hugs. Yay! Oh, wait. One more comment. Sherry Langley. Hey, girl. We were supposed to meet each other and then COVID messed us up, didn't it, Sherry? We're still going to do it. Love you guys. Take care. Hugs. Join the class. It's going to be fun.